We're ready to rumble. all on campus for Hall of Fame weekend. Today is also Senior Day for the DePauw football program. Today, DePauw University celebrates the seniors who have impacted the DePauw football program in many ways. First, from the pep band, Laura Allen, music education major from Lagodi, Indiana. With Laura is Robert Allen and Desiree Allen, parents. Marilyn Mann, a communication major from Holland, Michigan. Justice Morgan, a music major from Bloomington, Indiana. Upon graduation, Justin will pursue a career in writing, teaching, and performing music. Taylor Perez, a double major in voice and education studies from Munster, Indiana. With Taylor today, Tiffany Perez, mother, and Carlos and Max Perez, brothers. After graduation, Taylor will go to graduate school for a master's in choral conducting. Samira Snow, an art history and studio art major from Crossville, Illinois. Today accompanied by mother and father, Holly and Jeremy Snow. She plans to work in student affairs, working on teacher certification. Katie Steele, double major in music performance and mathematics from Greenfield, Indiana. Upon graduation, Katie will go to graduate school. Calvin Wearsome, a double major in computer science and mathematics from Elmhurst, Illinois. Upon graduation, Calvin will pursue a doctorate in mathematics. From the Heat dance team, Micaiah Cheeks, a peace and conflict studies major from Chicago, Illinois. Also Hope Seltzer, a biology major from Indianapolis, accompanied by Trina Seltzer, Mark Seltzer, and Hallie Tripp. Hope will attend medical school to become an obstetrician. Cheerleaders, Paige Hart, kinesiology major from Kendallville, Indiana. Today with mother Sue Hart and father Russell Beaver. Paige plans to work in a pharmacy before attending graduate school. Sophie Kuntz, a cheerleader, a film and major from Columbus, Ohio. Here today with Cherry and George Kuntz, parents. Adri McCullough, communication major from Franklin, Indiana. Today with mom Emily and dad Chad. After graduation, Adri will be working at Eli Lilly in HR. Catarina Zedat Passini, a neuroscience major from Florianopolis, Brazil. Upon graduation, Catarina will pursue a PhD in neuroscience at the University of Miami in Florida. Student manager for the football team, Arlie Johnson, a kinesiology major from Libertyville, Illinois. Today with Adrian and Austin Johnson, mother and father. Arlie will go to graduate school for athletic training. Student coaches for the football team, Luke Candiano, an economics major from Anderson, Indiana. Today with mother Pam Candiano, father Tony, and brother Aaron and Caroline Kirchmer. After graduation, Luke will pursue a career in financial consulting. Danny Collins, a communication major from Glenview, Illinois. With mom Carolyn and dad Artie and brother Artie. Danny will pursue a career in wealth and asset management. Joe Garosick, an economics major from South Bend, Indiana. Here today with mom and dad Lynn and Kevin Garosick. Marty Mangus, psychology major, media studies minor from Bremen, Indiana. Here today with Troy Mangus, Melissa Mangus, parents, and brother Evan Mangus and sister-in-law Kenzie Mangus. Marty will go to graduate school to study sports psychology. Football players for DePauw, seniors. Number 0, Owen Rossell, a communication major from Zionsville, Indiana. Here today with mom Lisa and dad Keith. Upon graduation, Owen will go into commercial real estate. Number 3, Seth Menser, a business analytics major from Indianapolis, with parents Scott and Holly Menser. He'll work with APC Logistics Group in Indianapolis. Number 5, Buddy Gomez, a business analytics major from Indianapolis. Here with parents Paige and Ed Gomez and brother Stu. He'll pursue a career in sales. Number 7, Leighton Lukowski, a communication major from Carmel, Indiana. Here with parents Amy and Jim Lukowski and brother Jaggert Lukowski. Leighton will pursue a career in medical sales. Number 10, Joey Rowland, a business analytics major from Greenfield, Indiana. Here today with his dad Greg and mom Carol and brother Stephen. He'll pursue a career in business and data analytics within the sports industry. Number 11, Caden Whitehead, a communication major from Indianapolis. Here today with his mom Candace, his grand Paula, his pawpaw Wayne, and his girlfriend Michaela. He'll be going into business development. Number 17, Alex Hoover, a kinesiology major from Brownsburg. Here today, Amy Hoover, his mom, and Ryan Hoover, dad, along with brothers Jake and Zach. Alex will obtain a master's in nutrition and work in sports performance. Number 18, Holt Heldebrand, a business analytics major from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here today with parents Steve and Whitney Heldebrand and Hector Heldebrand, the brother. He'll be going to graduate school and pursue a career in athletic administration. Number 41, Holt Heldebrand, business analytics major from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's also with Whitney and Steve Heldebrand and brother Hector. He'll be going to work for Kennecott Camps. Number 19, Trent Bodart, communication major from Columbus, Indiana. Here with parents Dana Drum and his dad, Chris Bodart. He'll go back home to work. Number 20, Luke Soltz, kinesiology major from Indianapolis. Here with parents Sarah and Ryan Soltz. He'll attend physical therapy school and become a physical therapist. Number 23, Dominic Turner, a communication major from Springfield, Ohio. Accompanying Dominic today are Lou and Heather Turner, his parents, Antonia Kitchen and Anne-Marie Turner, his sisters. He'll be working as a financial advisor for One Indiana Financial Group. Number 23, Aaron Wagner, an economics major from Fort Wayne. Here with parents Tim and Carol Wagner and Ashley Wagner, his sister. He'll pursue a career in business. Number 25, Nathan Creed, a kinesiology major from Plymouth, Indiana. Here today with parents Cindy and John Creed. He'll attend chiropractic school at Palmer College of Chiropractic in Daytona, Florida. Number 26, Luke Russo, communication major from Louisville, Kentucky. Here today with parents Laura and Mark. Luke will work for Salesforce in Indianapolis. Number 27 is Tristan Foran, an education studies major from Monticello, Illinois. Here today with Beth Huizinga, his mom, and Jason Foran, his dad, and Carter Foran, a brother. Tristan intends to be a high school teacher and football coach. Number 28, Ethan Beaupre, a physics and pre-engineering major from Fort Wayne. Here today with his mother Lisa Beaupre and his mentor Lawrence Barnett. Ethan will attend Washington University in St. Louis to get a degree in electrical engineering. Number 39, John Tobin, an economics major from Western Springs, Illinois. He's here today with mother and father, Kristen and Matt Tobin. He'll be moving back to Chicago to work. Carson Dibble, number 40, finance major from Columbus, Indiana. Today with Carson are father Greg Dibble, mother Rita Dibble, sister Kelly Gamma, and brothers Tyler Purtleball and Zach Purtleball. He'll pursue a career in wealth management. Number 42, Luke Nolan, business analytics major from Zionsville, Indiana. Luke is accompanied by mother and father, Kristen Henry. He'll be working in marketing. Number 47, Ian Buster, a double major in business analytics and communication. He's from Fisher, Indiana. Today with Ian are Terry Busher and father Jason Busher and sisters Olivia and brother Clark. He'll be pursuing a career in consulting. Number 48, Blake Woodard. He's a double major in economics and communication from Plainfield, Indiana. Today with Blake is his dad, Brian, his mother, Jennifer, and his sister, Allison. Blake intends to coach football at the Division I level. Number 49, Brendan Biggin, an economics major from Elmhurst, Illinois. Today with Brendan, Mom Bridget, Joe, his dad, and Sean, his brother. He'll be going into finance and accounting and coaching high school football. Number 51, Danny McCoy, a communication major from Milford, Ohio. With Danny today are his dad, Jeff, and his mom, Andy. Number 56, Nate Glazebrook, an economics major from Northbrook, Illinois. Today with Nate is Terry Glazebrook, his mom. He'll be working as a credit analyst at BMO Bank in Chicago. Number 65, Joseph Marzano, is a double major in economics and Italian. He's from Elmhurst, Illinois. Today with Joseph are his father, Joe, and his mother, Tara. He'll be working in finance. Number 77, Rylan Watkins, a communication major from Indianapolis. Today with Rylan are Ruby Butler, his mother, Mark Watkins' father, and Tyler Watkins, his brother. After graduation, Rylan will become a football coach. Number 83, Ethan Morrison. His major is political economy. He's from Dallas, Texas. With Ethan today are his mom, Winter Morrison, and his dad, Brian Morrison. Number 84, Robbie Ballantyne. He's a biochemistry major from Crown Point, Indiana. With Robbie today are his dad, Sean, his mom, Julie, his brother, Scott Ballantyne, and his sister, Maggie. He'll continue to play football or attend medical school. Number 85, Will Castor, an economics major from Pendleton, Indiana. With Will today are his dad, Greg, and his mom, Kate, and his grandparents, Bill and Betsy Peckenbaugh. He'll work in finance at Eli Lilly. Number 86, Gunnar Hartwig, a communication major from Zionsville, Indiana. With Gunnar today are his father and mother, Amy and Miles. He'll continue coaching football upon graduation. Number 90, Dominic DeTola, a psychology major from Schurerville, Indiana. With Dominic today are Jen DeTola, his mother, Mike, his father, Bella, his sister, Gia, a sister, and Addison Talaga, his girlfriend. He's looking to go into sports therapy upon graduation. Number 97, Dominic Siebel, a kinesiology major from Indianapolis. With Dominic today, his mom, Carol Siebel. He'll work as a strength and conditioning coach and a chiropractic assistant upon graduation. These seniors have compiled a 37-5 record over the last 4 years, which ranks second for wins by any DePauw class in 138 seasons. This includes a 28-2 record in North Coast Athletic Conference play and a 17-3 record here on Nick Morose's field. Their .881 winning percentage is currently the best 4-year percentage in program history. Among the highlights on the field were 3 consecutive NCAA titles and an NCAA postseason appearance and a school record 11 wins last year, in addition to back-to-back 10-0 regular seasons for the first time in program history. The Tigers' 45-20 NCAA postseason win over Maryville last year was the second in program history. These Tigers regained possession of the Monon Bell with a 49-14 win over Wabash in 2022 and kept it with a 33-30 double overtime victory in Crawfordsville, and then last year's 42-21 win here at Blackstock. Thank you, all DePauw seniors, for what you've done for DePauw universities and our communities. Best wishes in all future endeavors.
Rivalry.
Let's go, Tigers!
It's what drives us.
Pushes us.
Makes us strive for greatness. At DePauw University, we embrace challenges both on and off the field.
We excel in academics,
Athletics.
And beyond.
We rise to every challenge together.
on the field,
In the classroom,
And in our community.
the Monon Bell game is more than a rivalry.
It's a celebration of hard work.
dedication,
And the relentless pursuit of victory.
it's about tradition.
It's about family.
It's about being part of something bigger.
At DePauw, rivalry fuels our ambition.
Tigers, let's go!
Because we know every challenge makes us stronger.
Every play, every moment, every cheer echoes commitment to being our best.
Victory is earned,
Respect is given. We play for both. Our rivalry with Wabash isn't just about the game. It's about preparing for success in all areas of life.
Over 100 years of other men that have played.
It's not just about the game. It comes down to tradition and brotherhood.
Being able to build your own legacy with your class.
We always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
Catch made! Touchdown! Ball game! DePauw will win! Let's go, Tigers! Ah!
driven by rivalry.
Defined by excellence.
DePauw University.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
And Blake Woodard.
You're watching Division III college football here on the ISC Sports Network, and today from Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, Indiana, it's the 13th ranked DePauw Tigers taking on the 5-4 Wooster Fighting Scots. Alongside the former Northwestern offensive lineman Jared Thomas, my name is Rick Johnston, and a big home regular season finale here for the Tigers, trying to make it 3 in a row.
I think it's a moment of significance for both squads and their seniors. For DePauw, senior day, but then for the seniors on the College of Wooster, this is their last game in their college football career. So a lot of emotions that are going to be on the field here at Blackstock, but nonetheless, it's another opportunity to play football, so everyone's excited and ready to go.
Yeah, interesting schedule breakdown for the Fighting Scots. Their bye week is actually next week, so they're, like Jared has mentioned, their season over here today. DePauw suffered their only loss of the year, their first loss in almost 3 full seasons during the regular season to John Carroll a couple of weeks ago. They've ripped off 2 wins in a row, defeating Ohio Wesleyan 40-10 last week. Wooster comes in after defeating Kenyon at home 49-6 a week ago. DePauw has won the toss. They've elected to receive, and that means we see Nolan Hendricks, the freshman out of Massillon, Ohio, to kick it away. And we're off and running here on a Saturday afternoon in Greencastle. Taken by one of the upbacks for the Tigers, and they work it out towards the near side. That's Carson Johnson, and a nice return there for the Tigers, and they'll start out near their own 40.
Carson Johnson has to be a welcome sight for all Tiger fans and support, just because in the middle part of this season he was out with injury, and that's someone that Coach Dietz has talked about pretty consistently in his explosion and what he brings out of the backfield and in special teams. So welcome sight for sore eyes.
The Indianapolis native from Cathedral High School last week rushed for 31 yards. And we get to see Scott Ballantyne, the talented sophomore quarterback out of Crown Point, passed for 4 touchdowns last week. And a direct snap here to Caden Whitehead, starting running back out to the near side, and a nice opening play for Whitehead in the Wildcat, and a big-time first down run for Whitehead.
Well, it's 2 things that I love to start this game for DePauw. Number 1, it's left guard Bennett Smith, someone that was talked about as the best offensive lineman up front. The left guard does a nice job on the pull, kicking out. And then Caden Whitehead, it felt like in our conversation as we reflected on this season for DePauw's run game, it wasn't quite there. And what did Coach Dietz say? Well, a lot of those are run-pass options, and Scott, more times than not, liked the look, so he threw the ball. So what do you do to eliminate that? You put Caden in as the quarterback in Wildcat, and you gash him for the first play of the game.
Handoff up the middle, and here goes Caden Whitehead, untouched. 2 plays, pay dirt for the Tigers.
It's no better feeling for an offense when you come out and you execute as if you just came on the field for the first time. And what do? You get it to one of your best players, the senior from Indianapolis, Park Tudor High School, in the house. Does a nice job. Patience on the first run on the outside, and then comes back the next play up the middle and goes the distance.
2 plays, 66 yards, all for that young man, Caden Whitehead, as he gets his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. Extra point on the way from Matthew Berry is up and good, and not even a minute into this opening quarter, Jared, and it is the Tigers establishing their strength here early.
A very simple formula for the Tigers in just committing to running the ball to start the game, and it helps when you go 2 plays, and in as many plays you go the distance and score your first touchdown of the day. This is a team in Wooster that hasn't done a great job defending in the pass and in the run, so I know in our conversation with Brett Dietz, he liked a lot of the looks that they were going to give them offensively, and so far still on script with that play call sheet.
So the Tigers put up 40 last week at Ohio Wesleyan. They got down 3-0 early, and then they scored 33 unanswered points. They liked the response last week. They really like the start here today. Buddy Gomez, one of the seniors honored before today's game, will kick this one away here for the 13th ranked Tigers. Last week had 4 touchbacks at Ohio Wesleyan. DePauw has dominated this all-time series, winning 11 of the 14 matchups here with the Fighting Scots, including a 51-14 romp here at home a year ago. Damian Cunningham takes this kickoff return here for Wooster, and a nice return out across the 20 to the 25-yard line. And for a team that struggles to get things going offensively, good. And after getting hit in the mouth here early, good kickoff return here for Wooster.
This is not a team that's going to be afraid of the moment. 5-4 on the season, so no matter what they do here today, they end the season at least 500 or better, which is better than what they did last year under the watchful eye of Coach Frank Colaprete, that's no longer with the program, exactly why Austin Holter is the first-year head coach for these Fighting Scots. But this is a team that's going to be on the tack.
1st and 10 from the 25 for Michael Boyle, the starting quarterback, a junior out of Pennsylvania. Play action, rolls, pass across, complete, but a flag is thrown in the backfield, complete to David Parker. And we'll wait and see what the flag is here. Currently good enough for a first down out to the 35-yard line, but it goes against Wooster, and it'll move him back here after the nice play on 1st and 10 on a hold.
Offense number 72, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
First time we get to hear our Referee today, Andrew Keppeler.
Joey Rowland does a nice job. As you can see him retreating to the underneath coverage of the receiver on the deep over, and it forces quarterback from Wooster to drop it off down in the flat, but it doesn't matter because that play is going backwards. But a nice job being sound there by Mr. Rowland.
Boyle, the QB, tied a program record with 6 touchdown passes last week, threw for 430 yards. He's completing almost 57% of his passes here this season. Parker, the tight end, the motion man. Running back is Manny Zelaya. He gets the carry here on 1st and 20 and presses forward for a short gain.
And the unfortunate part for this Fighting Scots offense is this isn't a team that's going to burn the midnight oil when it comes to the rushing department. Only rushed for over 100 yards twice. Week 5 versus Wittenberg and Week 6 versus Denison. And then, oh, by the way, this is a DePauw defense that only gives up 10 rushing yards per game. So it's going to be a bit of a war of attrition when it comes to toting the rock.
Zelaya, the sophomore out of Florida. Here's 2nd down and 19. Snap back to Boyle. Throws off his back foot. Going to the sideline and trying to work his way there. Looking for a flag was Cam Crago. Incomplete. It's 3rd down and long.
Doing a nice job in coverage. That was, and Jaden Miller running step for step with Crago all the way down the field. A position in the cornerback, something that we'll talk about as this game goes on. But this staff for DePauw has really been looking for some answers. So I feel, based off of what they said, we're going to see a healthy rotation of players in there until they find an answer as they go into the Bell game next week and on into the playoffs potentially.
3rd down and 19. Wooster converting at just 30% on 3rd down here this season. Empty set for Boyle. They need their own 35-yard line. Pressure coming from DePauw. Boyle runs away, throws, complete, but I'll be well short of the 1st down, completing it to Crago. Pressure came that time from the DN, Luke Nolan.
One of the all-time leader in sacks, sitting at 22. That is Luke Nolan, applying that pressure on quarterback Michael Boyle for the Fighting Scots. But a nice job by this defense. This is complimentary football. Your offense goes out on their first possession, 2 plays and a touchdown, and now you have a chance to get off the field on 4th down.
Here's 4th and 2 after the 17-yard pickup. Wooster is just 8 for 21 here on 4th down this season. First drive of the ball game for the Fighting Scots. They trail 7-0 after a 2-play drive by Caden Whitehead of DePauw. 4-man rush, pass complete across the middle to Brody Snyder. And just when Wooster needed it, they get a key 4th down conversion across the 40.
This is exactly what they do. They're going to pass to win. The run game kind of came along in the middle of the season, going back to Week 4. But this is a team that's not afraid to sling the rock, as we've seen with the numbers that Michael Boyle has put up at the quarterback position, already over 2,000 yards on the season.
10-yard pickup there. That's 17 and 10 yards through the air here for Wooster. Remember, Boyle, as we mentioned, completed 57% of his passes last weekend. Set a career high in passing yards for himself at 430. That was also the 5th most in a single game in Wooster history. Fresh set of downs after the pickup on 4th and 2. Play action, pass across the middle, caught by Snyder once again, his 2nd straight grab, and he'll move the chains once again, picking up 11.
The same player that we just talked about just a few plays ago in Joey Rowland, they put him in limbo. So as soon as he commits to the run, they're just going to throw it right over his head, as we've seen Boyle get it to Snyder again. Now 2 first downs on this drive. Have to feel like the blood is flowing offensively for the Fighting Scots.
11 yards there. That's now 3 straight plays, Jared, of 10-plus yards here for Wooster after going backwards of the holding on the very first play. All through the air here for Boyle. He's completed 3 straight passes, 3 for 4 here on the opening drive. Quick strike offense for DePauw. 2 plays on the ground. They found Pater. Wooster trying to answer. They go to the ground game here, and a big hole up the middle. Rumbling his way through is Manny Zelaya. And that's a nice carry there. It'll be a gain of 8 and brings up 2nd down and 2.
The one thing that's always going to be tough for any defense is when an offense consistently makes you defend space. Spread formation consistently for the Fighting Scots, which is why the run game doesn't always have to be effective, because they pass the ball with such efficiency. So when you do get big runs like we just saw on 1st down, that's part of just making the engine continue to rumble.
Zelaya held to just 26 yards on 9 totes last week in the win over Kenyon. 2nd down and short for Wooster as they found their rhythm here. Back to the ground again with Zelaya, looking for that 1st down yard marker. And it looks like he got held up a yard shy. It'll be 3rd down and short.
That was Tariq Jimo Oyashigi in on the play, getting the tackle. Second leading tackler on this team for the Tigers. Has done a nice job at that linebacker position. The Ben Davis product has come along nicely. I feel has just gotten better as the season has progressed, and they're going to need a big-time effort from him today.
1 yard to go here on third down. Worcester trying to pick it up for the first time today, and they go to the ground again, and this is going to be close as Zelaya stretched his way out, and that would be good enough, right? By the skin of his teeth. He got his legs cut out from underneath him, Jared, but is able to reach out and get the first.
We talk about efficiency. When you go first down and you run the ball for 7 yards, second and third down seem a lot easier because you don't have to travel as far. It's pretty simple, but that simplicity is what helps offenses play winning football.
Fresh set of downs with Parker, the motion man, here for the Fighting Scots. Boyle looks over to that far sideline with offensive coordinator Caleb Jarrett. Calling the plays here for the visitors, Wooster. Shotgun snap, play action, pass was deflected and intercepted by the Tigers. Harry Pratt from Toowoomba, Australia with the INT.
This is a theme that we just saw with the Indianapolis Colts against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers applied pressure to Daniel Jones in that offensive front. It led to tip balls, and as soon as tip balls go up, that's when defensive players are on high alert, just like Pratt. Watch the batted ball right here. That was just before the hands of Joey Rowland, and then Pratt comes in with the interception. A demoralizing play if you're the offense for Wooster, but you have to feel good bending but not breaking for DePauw.
It had gone to the ground last couple of times, back to the air. That's an INT there for Pratt. And here comes the DePauw offense back onto the field. Remember, they just scored in 2 plays to start this game off with Caden Whitehead picking up all 61 yards that he needed on the ground. Play action here. Ballantyne across the middle to his older brother, Robbie, who makes the catch and spins his way up near the 45. That'll be a first down.
Everything this offense does for the DePauw Tigers is predicated on how our opposing secondaries and defense is going to defend Robbie Ballantyne. And to much of the surprise of Coach Dietz, he says teams continue to cover him one-on-one. That's not a matchup that you're going to win because, as he's already done so many times this year, one-on-one, and you can take it to the bank. That's good on Sunday as well.
He lines him in the slot here. You'll see 84 in black move around a lot here this afternoon. Younger brother Scott in the pistol, looks big brother's way again. Pressure comes. Ballantyne rolls, a little floater far side. Whitehead with a catch, tried to back his way to the first down. Charlie Scoggin ushered him into the Wooster bench. That'll be close to the line to gain.
It's a nice job by Scott Ballantyne. As he gets flushed out of the pocket, you can see he almost premeditated where he wanted to go with the football, as if panic kind of set in, but it was a nice job by Caden Whitehead slipping just underneath, halting that decision from Ballantyne just long enough to get him the rock in the flat and rumbling for a nice healthy gain on first down.
8 yards on a little pop pass there to Whitehead, his 9th catch of the season. Back on the ground, right up the gut once again. First down, and he's moving that pile as he ran right into Brock Savan. But a big-time run here for Caden Whitehead. He has been the workhorse here early.
Helps when you can hand the ball off to those guys up front and allow them to move the line of scrimmage. Not something that's a strength of this Wooster team, as I've already talked about. But this run game, it seems that it's going to be a priority of emphasis today, as we've already seen with the play calling to start this one.
Wooster allows almost 153 yards on the ground this season. Whitehead along with Carson Johnson hoping for big days, as Johnson making his first appearance today behind Ballantyne in the pistol. RPO, Ballantyne airing it out towards the sideline. Wanted older brother Robbie. It's thrown out of bounds, incomplete. That's the first misstep here for the DePauw offense today.
One thing that Coach Dietz talked about with his defense from the Fighting Scots is how they play Brock Savan right in the middle of their secondary coverage. So what that means is essentially there's 3 safeties consistently. That allows Savan to be almost like a rover, picking off some of the run fits and then playing as an extra in the pass game as well. But what does that mean for the corners? A lot of one-on-one. So there's going to have to be attention put to Ballantyne, because if he's consistently placed to one-on-one matchups, that's one that they feel good that they can win.
RPO, Carson Johnson up the middle, has been hurt earlier this year, but a nice carry inside the 20 to the red zone goes Carson Johnson. He is so slippery.
as he gets over on the right tackle and the right side of that offensive line. You watch his feet just break down the defender right over here to the right there. That's all he needed. Allows the block to get set up by his tight end and then accelerates for the first down.
Pickup of 20 for Carson Johnson. We mentioned the rotating bodies at corner for DePauw. They've rotated a lot of guys around both in and out of the lineup and different positions, particularly on that right side for the Tiger offensive line. Play action fake. Ballantyne to the air, to the end zone, and almost trying to haul it in with one hand was Evan Pitzer. In coverage there was Charlie Scoggin.
Right now, that playbook is rolling right through those openers, something that I asked Coach Dietz about. Do you go into every game plan, and that's specifically for offensive coordinator Mason Espinosa, do you go into a game plan with plays that you want to open the game with? And his answer was, great question. Kudos to us journalists. But then at the same time, yes, but situations change. But right now, not too much has changed for this offense because they continue to roll.
Incomplete pass. We do Big J journalism here on the ISC Sports Network.
Capital J.
Ballantyne to Ballantyne, unsuccessful for the second straight time. Rare that we've had to say that much throughout their time together here in Greencastle. And here's a 3rd down and 10 as we dip below 6 minutes left to play here in the opening quarter. Second drive of the ball game for DePauw. Last week, Ballantyne, 74% completion percentage, 25 of 34 in the romp at Ohio Wesleyan. 3rd down and 10. Ballantyne trying to use his legs, and he's going to get sacked. Nice pressure there from Wooster. D.T. Franklin coming up with the sack, along with help from Donovan Jackson.
That's one of the defensive linemen up front that does present some problems for offensive lines. He does a nice job consistently playing with high effort as you see him continuing to track toward Ballantyne even after it seemed like he had already escaped the pocket. Nice job by D.T. Franklin.
A little bit of a strut there for the Memphis native on his first sack of the year. Here's Matthew Berry to attempt the field goal. He's 3 of 5 this year. This one will be a 36-yarder. A little bit into the wind here in the opening quarter. And it is up, and it is good. With 5:09 left to go here in the opening quarter, DePauw stretches that lead out to 10-0 here over Wooster. We'll step aside, take a break for 30 seconds, and come back with the kickoff next here on the ISC Sports Network.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
A lot for the band to play about here in the opening quarter. A 36-yard field goal up and good for Matthew Berry, his 4th made of the year. He's now 2 of 3 between 30 and 39 yards. Caden Whitehead had that big, long run on the opening play of the game that set up his rushing touchdown as Buddy Gomez on to kick this one away once again. Wooster had a nice drive going, but on our 9th one, Pratt got the interception. As Damian Cunningham, along with Louis Lindsay, back deep here for the Fighting Scots. And Cunningham lets this one go into the end zone, and a touchback. First one of the afternoon here for Buddy Gomez, and Wooster gets the ball here with 5:09 left to play here in the first. Second time the Fighting Scots have the ball. What would you like to see out of the Fighting Scots here the second time with the rock?
I think they did a nice job driving down the field on that first possession. That's why you continue to play as a defense, because DePauw did a nice job getting their hands in the passing lane, forced a tip ball, which allows all defenders to be on high alert. But you have enough already evidence-wise that you did enough to get down there, have to create some of the same camaraderie, get down there again, but then just tighten up the execution.
Zelaya the back, next to Boyle, who threw his 9th interception of the year. They move the pocket, off-balance throw, complete. Right near the 30-yard line to David Parker. And the tight end hauls it in after he gets gang tackled by a couple of different DePauw Tigers. Joey Rowland, the first one in there.
Joey Rowland, one of those players that's back from injury that I know is a welcome sight for all those cheering for the Tigers here on Senior Day, has already made his presence known a few different times with his efforts on defense for this DePauw team.
2nd down and 5 after the catch from Parker and a little bit of a run as well. 4.5 and ticking here in the opening quarter. Boyle in the gun with Zelaya next to him. Play action. Here comes pressure up the middle from the Tigers and a sack. First one of the day for DePauw. It's Dominic Siebel making his presence felt back in the lineup today.
Dominic Siebel does everything in the sack department, leads the team 8.5 at the start of Senior Day, makes that now 9.5. Another guy that was out with injuries, but now he is back. Someone that Coach Dietz says really is an athletic freak, can dunk a basketball, really took time in the offseason to work on his body, and it's paid some huge dividends, and I'm sure everyone excited that he's back in the lineup.
9.5 sacks now for Siebel on the year, and it's 3rd down and 14 here for Wooster. They went for it on 4th down on their first drive. Go route down the sideline, and leading his man too much was Boyles. He tried to connect with his top wide receiver, Tate Journal. It's 4th down.
That's Jaden Miller just doing a nice job in as many possessions. That's now 2, and it's twice that he's running step for step with the receiver as they're trying to attack them over the top of the defense. I'm not going to speak too soon, but maybe Miller is a potential plug-in at that cornerback position.
On to punt, Nolan Hendricks, who averages 36 yards per boot. And back deep is Carson Johnson. First punt of the afternoon. Johnson takes it his own 45, makes the first man miss, can't get away from the second as he's tackled by Charlie Scoggin. And good field position here once again on the Wooster side of the field for the DePauw offense.
Had a flag come flying in at the very end, going to wait and see what that official call is.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team number 80. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
So mark off here for the DePauw offense, moving it back 10 yards. Again, if you're just joining us, Caden Whitehead, 2 plays, finished it off with a 34-yard touchdown run. 2 plays, 61 yards. Drive stalled a little bit there on the second time with the ball for DePauw, but they're able to get 3 out of it as they lead 10-0.
Not many realize, but as you approach scoring position, as you get into the red zone, you realize that you're getting closer, but the field shrinks, and so a lot more precision and accuracy and everyone being on the same page of their assignments has to go up just a notch just because you're dealing with less space, which forces the defense to sort of have the advantage at times.
Handoff to the tight end Palmer Samuels, who can really get out and run. And look at the big fella rumbling back into Fighting Scott territory. He's been a real big bright spot the last couple of weeks.
We talked about Caden Whitehead starting the game off, and it was a key block by an offensive lineman. And then a couple plays later, Palmer Samuels was doing the same thing on his touchdown run. This time, Caden Whitehead paying him back for what was put on credit. Palmer Samuels, the 3rd leading receiver on this football team at the tight end position, showing the athleticism when he's got the ball in his hands as a running back.
18-yard romp for the former Delta Eagle. Able to catch that awkward snap was Valentine. Still got the ball off to Whitehead, who made something out of nothing. About an 8-yard gain will be 2nd down and 2.
The chess match that goes on between an offensive play caller and a defense trying to stop an offense is what are you giving us as an offense? And so far, what this DePauw offense is showing is that they have some run game stuff that they really like, which is why they've leaned into the run game as much as they have in this first quarter.
Second down and 2 as we approach 2 minutes to go in the first. RPO, Carson Johnson doesn't like things on the left, reverses back to the right and runs right into a wall of the Fighting Scott defense. First one in there, DT Franklin, the senior, came in Hadn't played a lot in the last couple of, had not had much numbers this week, but a sack and a big tackle right there to stop Carson Johnson before he could get going.
And it was also his fellow defensive lineman buddy, Cale Delaney, doing a nice job as Rylan Watkins went to kick him out. He really pressed Watkins back into the hole, forcing some indecision by this DePauw Tigers team and allowed the rest of the crew to rally to the football.
3 wide for Scott Ballantyne. Johnson remains the back. RPO, Johnson takes nice hole up the middle again. DePauw's done great clearing running back space for Whitehead, and now Johnson right up the gut. And the junior running back out of Indy into the red zone once again, down to the 16.
One thing that you could notice about this DePauw offense is they're predominantly a zone team, not much gap scheme thus far in the season, but something that they're really kind of hanging their hat on thus far. When you do run pass options, you prefer a zone scheme because it's just an easier mesh to potential throw. When it's gap scheme, you really like the pullers that you gain as they've done so far in this run scheme, and it's been working effectively.
Seth Menser, the new running back in, senior out of Indianapolis, from Cathedral High School, where Jared is a proud alum of.
But unfortunately, they just lost last night to DePauw. Congratulations to Coach Ralph and the Dragons. 20-15 in a game that started off with DePauw housing a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So, unfortunately for my Irish, they lost, but a well-fought game and an exciting one that everyone was talking about last night.
I wasn't going to mention it. I was going to let you take it. I was just mentioning where you're a proud alum of. Play action. Palmer Samuels in the flat, cuts it up, and dives across the goal line for the touchdown. 2 big plays on the drive. First the run, and then he finds the end zone through the air.
He's always going to get rewarded, those tight ends, because he has the ability to block, he has the ability to run, and then what else does he have the ability to do? Catch the football, and then it's the run after the catch. I already talked about he is the fourth leading receiver on this team. Third leading, over 300 yards from the tight end spot. Palmer Samuels doing a nice job in the absence of Gabe Quigley from a year ago.
Samuels had 6 catches for 81 yards last week. That touchdown catch as Barry adds the point after, his 4th of the year for the junior tight end. He played a lot of different positions during his high school days in Muncie at Delta. 3 possessions for the Tigers, 3 scores, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal. They lead 17-0. Late stages here of the first. We're back in 30 here on ISC.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
Final regular season home game of the year for number 13 DePauw. They make the trek over to Crawfordsville next week in the annual Monon Bell Classic to take on the Little Giants of Wabash. We'll have that game for you here with the kickoff coming at 1 o'clock here for free on the ISC Sports Network on all of our normal coverage links. 17-0 the lead for the Tigers. A short kick taken by Damian Cunningham. And a nice return. The first kickoff he had today takes this one out to the 25, a gain of about 22 or 23 yards. And Wooster with probably one more play left to go here in the first, trying to get some offensive rhythm back. The pick really set him back, and then a 3-and-out last time.
That's the risk that you run if you don't execute all the way through the finish, because you have a team on the other sideline that has the ability to make your mistake into gold and turn it into points. And they didn't turn that interception into points. It was only 3, but nonetheless they get a stop turnover on downs the next time, force a punt, and then they go right back down. So in so many words, they have the ability to make your mistakes or inability to execute and turn them into points and extend to a 3-score lead.
1st and 10 from their own 25. Third drive of the game for Wooster. Handoff. Zelaya going nowhere fast. Runs right into the teeth of that DePauw defense. Dominic Siebel, who got a sack on the last drive, able to hold Zelaya to no gain. And the clock is stopped with 6 8/10 of a second left as a player down here for Wooster after the Siebel tackle. We'll step aside and come back here from Greencastle. DePauw on top 17-0 here on the ISC Sports Network.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous because I got to make friends and my teacher's going to be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
Our students have a gold standard academic experience driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst pursuing a major in the creative school whilst doing a minor in liberal arts is something you just wouldn't find at another institution.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
The injured Fighting Scott is the left tackle Henry Ringenbach, 6'2 sophomore out of Pepper Pike, Ohio. He is being helped off the field by one of the members of the sports medicine staff, athletic trainer Nate Huston, and one of his teammates. So Aiden Spence, a 5'11 freshman, will slot in here at left tackle for the what we thought could be the final play, but Wooster will let this last 6 seconds of the clock run out, and that'll take our first quarter to its conclusion. DePauw had the ball 3 times in the first quarter. They score a touchdown, a field goal, and a touchdown, and they lead 17-0 here over Wooster in their regular season home finale. Caden Whitehead got things going early. 2 plays, he found Paydirt. It was a field goal from Barry, and then the Samuels touchdown catch had the Tigers ahead by 3 scores after 1 here on the ISC Sports Network.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous because I got to make friends and my teacher's going to be nice. But now that I'm here, all my...
A quick moving quarter break. 2nd down and 10 as the teams flip sides of the field. Wooster had a 9-play drive before throwing that pick on their first drive of the ballgame. Went 3 and out last time. Here they have a 2nd down and 10 after the no gain from Zelaya on the first play. Play action to him, rolling out is Boyle. Pass complete to David Parker, and he'll get it about halfway home, up to the 30. And here comes 3rd down and 5 for Wooster.
Anytime this Fighting Scots offense has wanted to just get an easy go get him, they've moved the pocket, rolled Boyle out, and he's found his receiver every single time. Something that it seems has worked for them thus far, and maybe built some more rhythm as they did on that first drive. So a critical 3rd down coming up for this offense.
Second or 3rd catch of the day for Parker. He had just 1 all of last week in that big win at Kenyon. 3rd down has not been friendly to Wooster today. They are just 1 for 3. Boyle dropping back, pass. It is slipped in there, complete to Cam Crago, and then a nice footwork to make his way up to gain extra yardage across the 40. Crago almost got stopped short, and he got even more after that.
Crago is a 6'5", solid contributor thus far this season. As a sophomore, the young guy is doing a nice job providing some outlets for Boyle as one of those 3 receivers that Coach Dietz talked about they're going to have to keep their eyes on throughout the course of this game.
That's a gain of 13 yards up to the Wooster 43-yard line, just underway. Here in the second quarter, Wooster down 17. Empty set for Boyle. Delayed blitz from DePauw. Pass almost intercepted by Rowland, but it fired into Tate Journal, and he sidesteps his way out for a gain of 11, and that'll move the chains once again.
It's the first time that they've really been able to sync up on the perimeter. It's been some deep shots that they were trying to find Journell down the field, but Boyle hadn't been able to connect with him. This is a guy that's got over 1,000 yards to eclipse this season. Only took him 4 weeks to do so. That's the quarterback that was throwing to him, and that's Journell. But Journell just under 800 yards receiving, doing a nice job. One of the all-time leaders in receiving for Wooster, so just does a nice job on the perimeter for the Fighting Scots.
He can really go. 3 catches for 135 yards last week. And DePauw pointing a movement on that offensive line. Remember, a new left guard, freshman Adam Spence.
Offense, number 58, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
This one goes against the right guard, Andrew Flesher. So you have 2 freshmen, now 3 freshmen on that offensive line, both on the right side, the guard and the tackle. Now the backup left tackle. A lot of youngsters up front here for Wooster.
There's only one senior right in the middle in Michael Kennedy. That is the elder statesman for that group up front. A lot of times offensive line play is going to be equated to leadership, which is synonymous with experience. Not much of it on that offensive line for the Fighting Scots, but you learn trial by fire, so a great environment for those young guys to learn in.
Parker stays in the backfield with Boyle in the pistol. Zelaya reverses course, back up the middle again, and he's able to almost get those penalty yards back. We'll call it a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Talked about it earlier in the broadcast. This run game really started to take form in week 4 versus Oberlin, where Riker Green, the freshman, had 2 rushing touchdowns in Bryson Douglas's absence. So once again, this isn't an offense that's really looking to get a bunch of production with the weapons that they have on the perimeter. But when they do get it, I'm sure it helps everything run that much more smoothly.
Luke Nolan, the end from Zionsville, Indiana, on the stop. We'll say it was a gain of 3, so it's 2nd and 12. Boyle looks to pass. DePauw rushes 4, threw across the middle. That one, if it had more juice on it, would have ended up in the arms of Aaron Wagner. Instead, it's incomplete.
Blake Jones doing a nice job right in the face of Tate Journell. Saw Journell trying to make almost an option route and run a slant, and Jones is right there in his face, forcing a tough throw. As you see, it sails over Journell's head, and that was Crago, trying to run that inside slant route from the number 2 position. But a nice job by this secondary from DePauw. Once again, their name being sung with praises with the struggles that they've had this season.
Nathan Creed defending there, the backup outside linebacker. Here's a 3rd down and long, just 2 third down conversions today. Screen pass out of the backfield. This is Bryson Douglas, and he'll get close to the 40 of DePauw for the sophomore out of Youngstown, Ohio. And that Wooster offense, Jared, staying on the field, they're going to go for on 4th down here once again.
Have really no choice at this point in the game, where you feel like if you give the ball back to the offense of DePauw, they could go and make this even bigger of a lead. And so you want to find some rhythm and potentially present a threat to get on the scoreboard. And so this is definitely 4 down territory for the Fighting Scots.
4th down and 7. Wooster trying to pick up their 2nd 4th down conversion today. Trailing by 17. Complete to Snyder, trying to find his way forward. He got hit initially by Jeremiah Miller, it looked like, and then Snyder serpentined his way back and got the yardage for the 1st down.
That's why tackling is so important for any defense. Right here, the ball is caught well before the sticks, but can you be a sure tackler and Miller and wrap him up and keep him from progressing any more than where you initially made contact? He was not able to, and once again, probably a feel-good moment if you're this offense of Wooster.
Got 7. That's exactly what he needed, and the drive continues here for the Fighting Scots. This is their 9th play here of their 3rd drive of the day. First one of the 2nd quarter. RPO, Boyle, foot does not go anywhere, trying to move those puppies, and it's Luke Nolan with his 6th sack of the season.
Luke Nolan, Dominic Siebel, Joey Rowland. These are guys that gets it done up front defensively for this DePauw team, and just a great job using some power on that rush. Gets all the way to Boyle and gets him down for the sack. Number 23 in his career.
It was the tight end, David Parker, trying to block the senior defensive end. Moved into the starting lineup after being a backup earlier in the campaign. So second down in a bunch. We'll call it 2nd and 17. Back to the 42. Boyle again under pressure. He's not going to go anywhere again. Another sack. This time it's Joey Rowland with another tackle for loss.
Sack number 23 for Luke Nolan, and then that's sack number 21 for Joey Rowland. Both guys that are on the all-time list when it comes to sacks in this DePauw football program, and you see exactly why. As soon as the quarterback, just like Michael Boyle did there, as soon as he seems to be unsure of how to attack the defense, here comes those guys that always are bearing down on the quarterback.
The Tiger defense had just 1 sack last week, Jared. They've had 2 in the last 2 snaps.
How you throw off a pass game, the ability to get to the passer, force him to put his eyes down just long enough that allows that rush to get home.
3rd down and 20 from the 45. Worcester trying to get their offense back in rhythm. Boyle looking downfield. Pass might have been partially tipped, and somehow catching that ball is Cam Crago. He had 3 different Tiger defenders surrounding him.
A gentleman that you called's name earlier for the interception effort has a similar effort here defensively for DePauw, and that's Harry Pratt. He actually gets hands on this, but it does not matter as Crago goes to the sideline, bobbles it, but just enough to get his feet down before going out of bounds.
They'll place this at the 24-yard line. A huge completion there from Boyle to Crago. The drive rolls on with 8.5 left before recess. Back to the air goes Boyle. Pass out to the sideline. Sliding and catching is one of those Scott wide receivers. That's Tate Jernell. And a nice pickup on 1st down and 10.
Once again, this passing attack is alive and well thus far for this offense of the Fighting Scots. They go over to the right, they come back left, they move the pocket, they have switch releases on the snap for the receivers, causing some potential confusion for opposing defenses. I think they're starting to click at the proper moment when they need points in the worst way.
2nd down and 4. Taking his time here with the play clock down to 5. Ground game, working Bryson Douglas. Can't bounce it outside. There's Tariq Jimo Oyashigi with a stop.
Oyashigi showing his athleticism to burst to the football as soon as he gets met at the line of scrimmage. Right there, he gets him just behind the line to gain of the line of scrimmage, Just doing a nice job at that linebacker position. They call it a spare and a pair. And those two in the middle, Owen Roselle and Oyashigi, doing a nice job manning this defense at the 2nd level.
3rd down and 5. This is the 14th play of the drive here, Jared, that started our 2nd quarter off. No one in the backfield with Boyle. They need the 14-yard line. Pass way over the head of the intended man, Brody Snyder.
But as they go into play number 14, all of those plays mean nothing if you can't punch it in. It feels that all of that manpower that you put in to get all the way down here, now for the 2nd time, if you walk away with no points, you have to tip your cap to the DePauw defense, but you have to feel let down if you're the Fighting Scots.
They have gone for it twice on 4th down today. They've picked it up both times, including once, to continue this drive here on 4th and 6, back near midfield. 5 yards to go on 4th down for Michael Boyle. Empty set again. DePauw brings pressure. Boyle flushed, looking towards the end zone, and he throws it out of bounds. Incomplete. It'll be a turnover on downs.
Sometimes all you ask is for the front 4 or whoever's rushing the passer to just get that quarterback off of his spot, especially on a 4th down like this. You get him off of his spot, you force a scramble drill, use the sideline as an extra defender, ball sails out of bounds. Another quality stop from this defense.
Every time that Wooster has gotten their offense rolling, particularly in DePauw territory today, Jared, they've turned it over, and then they have the turnover on downs here. This, when they get inside that 30-yard line, this like the offense just stomps on the brakes.
It's the omen of bending but not breaking defensively. You can give up yards as long as you don't look up at the scoreboard and they're not neck and neck with you. And so far, they have done a nice job in that department, giving up 0 points thus far.
Play action, Ballantyne finds his older brother Robbie, cutting across the middle, out across the 40, still not down yet. Then he gets hit hard from behind after the play action, but Scott to Robbie, you can book it every time.
That old brother-to-brother connection alive and well. 71 times they've connected over 1,000 yards before the start of this game and 9 touchdowns. That's a level of comfort. That's a level of familial ties. That's a level of high-octane offense that DePauw has taken advantage of time and time again.
24 yards through the air as the Ballantyne brothers connect once again here today. Quick moving DePauw offense. Double move, Ballantyne airing it out, wants Robbie on the sideline, twisting and turning. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. What an effort there from the senior Robbie Ballantyne.
How do you beat double coverage? You double move it. Get the first underneath defender to bite on it and beat the second one with speed. The only caveat is Scott Ballantyne has to give brother an opportunity. Watch the pump fake right there. And then it's all about keeping the ball in bounds to allow Robbie to come down with it in bounds. He wasn't able to do that, but something that I know that they liked, so they could potentially come back to it this drive in particular.
Louis Lindsay and Charlie Scoggin, the two closest, trying to slow down the talented Robbie Ballantyne, second all-time in catches here at DePauw. Back to the ground goes Caden Whitehead. Took 2 plays in his hands to get the first touchdown of the day, and he worms his way forward, and that'll be a first down gain on 2nd and 10 right on the dot.
A very simple formula for the Tigers on offense. They're going to attack you. They're trying to take advantage of some splash plays down the field, but when those things don't work, when things don't seem like they're clicking, they're going to go back to what has been working thus far, and that's running the rock with everyone that they have in the backfield at their disposal.
Carson Johnson now in the backfield with the quarterback Scott Ballantyne. Wooster shows pressure and they bring it. Johnson runs right into the middle of it and he gets stood up after a gain of a couple to the 45-yard line. Pushing him back was Scoggin along with Donovan Jackson.
Talk about that offensive line with Coach Dietz. He said this week in practice he really felt like they did a nice job practicing, getting ready for this game. And I think part of that is reality is starting to set in. One, this is senior day, and now for the first time in the last 4 years, it is not certain that they're going to make the playoffs. Still have all their goals in front of them, but when that reality sets in, the sense of urgency goes up with it.
Ballantyne being pressured by Nicholas Bostic, and he has to turf this one. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 8 with less than 5 to go here in the second quarter. We talked with SID Bill Wagner, who's going to go into the Hall of Fame during the halftime ceremony today here at DePauw. And like you mentioned, Jared, the chance still there to get an at-large bid. You have to look at the index to figure things out. You obviously get the automatic qualifier right now for the conference. That's John Carroll. Then 13 at-large bids up for there. It's a little bit above my pay grade and my education level to try to figure it out. There's a little bit too much math involved. Still a chance, though, here for DePauw.
Simple for football coaches. You just tell your team, just go win every game that you play. And you don't have to worry about all of that criteria.
With a win today, John Carroll would wrap up the conference title. Pass across the middle. Ballantyne to Ballantyne again. Good for the first down inside the 35-yard line.
It doesn't matter if it's on your best defensive back, if you're the Fighting Scots and Louis Lindsay. If he's playing off coverage, that's like taking candy from a baby. They're going to take advantage every single time, which is why we're looking at one of the greatest wide receivers in DePauw football history doing some major work here on this Saturday afternoon.
Look up at 13 yards, and it's a first down and 10 here from the 32. Johnson, the running back, takes the handoff, runs into one of his own men, then pops forward, still stays on his feet, and takes it inside the 25-yard line. D.T. Franklin finally stopped it, but Johnson bouncing off of everybody.
It's two things. It's the strength to absorb the blow, and then it's the balance to continue to run forward, break a tackle in the hole when you were already going backwards. Watch Carson Johnson here. Bounces off, there's the strength. Then the balance right there to break the tackle, continue to go forward. Does an absolutely outstanding job turning what looked like it was only going to be a no-gainer into a positive one.
And a Fighting Scott defender down on the play. We'll step aside and take a break here. Final 3 minutes and 51 seconds here from Blackstock Stadium. DePauw on top 17-0 here on ISC.
Our students have a gold standard academic experience driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst pursuing a major in the creative school whilst doing a minor in liberal arts is something you just wouldn't find at another.
The injured Fighting Scott defender was Brock Savon. He's able to pop up to his feet and walk off under his own power. Here's a 2nd and 2 from the 24-yard line. Ballantyne going end zone. He's got his man, and he finds his big brother, Robbie, for the touchdown.
It's a very simple formula. If you're going to give them man-to-man coverage, whether it's the top part of a zone or it's true man-to-man, that is not a matchup that you're going to win. They've already shown that they will go to him early and often. And once again, to the surprise of all those cheering for the Tigers, somehow 84 in black and gold continues to get open.
14th receiving touchdown of the year for the Crown Point, Indiana native. Came into the day the leader in touchdown receptions for active NCAA players. That's number 52 in his storied career. Barry's PAT up and through, and it's all DePauw here on senior day over Wooster 24-0. We'll step aside for 30 and come back with the kickoff next.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
8-play drive for the Tiger offense, goes 81 yards, the last 24 through the air from Scott Ballantyne to older brother Robbie. Robbie's 14th touchdown catch of the year, Scott's 25th touchdown pass, his second one of the day, in a drive that took 3 minutes and 1 second off of the second quarter clock. DePauw's had the ball 4 times today. They've scored every single time here this afternoon.
Just some numbers for those that love those analytical takes out there. Coming into today's game, 232 career receptions for Robbie Ballantyne. The all-time record is by Alex Kors with 255. The all-time record for receiving yards by the same guy, Alex Kors, is 3850. And start of this game, Robbie Ballantyne had 3482. So I'm not a math guy, but if this season continues to go on and he continues to play football games, he could very well walk away as the all-time leader in a lot of those categories, being the best to ever do it here in Greencastle.
Still has one more regular season game next week, the Monon Bell Classic against Wabash, and they hope a playoff game as well, trying to secure what looks to be most likely an at-large bid with John Carroll in the driver's seat to win the NCAA conference title. So with 3:40 left to go here in the second quarter, it's a 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line here for Wooster. Boyle has been doing most of the work today through the air. Pistol look here. Drops back, and then Boyle throws a screen, underthrows his man there in Zelaya. Incomplete, it'll be 2nd and 10.
Everything for that quarterback position is based off of rhythm. Once you catch the snap, there's a certain level of mental processing that you go through. You get into your drop. You expect receivers to be in certain positions by the time you get to certain spots. But when you're getting pushed off of that spot, as you can see with that rush throw on that last play, nothing really feeling comfortable for Michael Boyle.
Pressure up the middle there from the DePauw defense. Zelaya remains the back here for the Fighting Scots. They've come in after a victory last week at Kenyon. RPO, pass complete to the near side to Snyder, trying to bounce it outside. Nice block in front by Crago. But the block might have been too good as a flag is thrown in that general vicinity.
Seems like that one will be coming back for some perimeter blocking that gets called for a hold.
Crago really unhappy with that flag. And here's the call from Andrew Keppeler.
Holding, offense number 7, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 2nd down.
So mark 10 yards off, and you get a look at it here. There's Craig right at the bottom of your screen. You see him grabbing the outside there with both hands, and those yellow gloves are easy to spot.
Although I'm with the sophomore, I think they just got him on a ticky-tack call. They saw it differently, but in great blocking position, hands were inside. Didn't see a defender reach out for the ball carrier attempting a tackle. So I felt like he was in good position, but that doesn't matter to the referees. For myself or for Crago, they saw it differently, and you go back 10 yards.
Second down in a bunch, back near their own goal line. Slipping out is the tight end Parker on the catch, and he gets driven down hard at around the 15-yard line. On the stop, Joey Rowland, who's been all over the field today for DePauw.
And this is a defense that's playing without Zach Reese, who was their leading tackler for the better part of the beginning of this season. And that's a blow to this defense that has been playing at such a high clip, and a guy that's been in the secondary for them. So guys like Joey Rowland and everyone else that's back from injury doing it by committee today.
5-yard pickup up to the 16, and it's still third down and long. Third down has not been friendly today here for Wooster. Their second drive here of the second quarter. Their first one ended over deep in DePauw territory. Late blitz, flushes Boyle out of the pocket, goes deep on the sideline, and Jernell had it, but it was broken up. Coming in from the defensive secondary, trying to get the number there for that DePauw Tiger. It was Jaden Miller.
That's now a few times that we've called Jaden Miller's name. When you talk about the struggles that they've had in the secondary, Coach Dietz said, we're just not trusting it. Just go cut it loose. See it, and then go play through. And that's exactly what Miller did. Not just allowing the reception to happen, but being on attack, playing through the hands of the receiver, getting the pass deflection, and that young man is having himself a day.
Miller a couple of tackles last week, and DePauw partially blocks this punt as Wooster backs away, but Nolan Hendricks down in some pain back as the Tigers came in and partially blocked that punt. It looked to be Jackson Kane came in and got his hands on that punt block. Get a look at the replay here once again, and it was Kane that came darting in and got his hands on it. So we'll take a look at the kicker and punter for Wooster. Nolan Hendricks will step aside here on the ISC Sports Network. DePauw with the ball, leading by 24.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone.
DePauw has scored every time they've touched the ball today, trying to make it 5 times in a row. Samuels gets his second handoff, and he's going to go nowhere fast. Firing through the line was Braden Hudson, one of the captains. He's slow to get back to his feet, but a good read there by the senior linebacker.
Braden Hudson doing an outstanding job, leads the team in tackles for loss. 7.5 at the start of today's contest, gets that notch up to 8.5. Just doing a nice job at that linebacker position for the Fighting Scots, showing why he's so valuable.
Loss of 3 brings us to the 2-minute timeout. We'll step aside here from Greencastle.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Our students have a gold standard academic experience driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst
Loss of 3 on the Samuels run. Direct snap Back to Scott Ballantyne. Plenty of time to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Pressure comes, and he is hit incredibly hard. Just shy of the line of scrimmage. Christian Kring came up and laid the wood along with the help of Braden Hudson.
Not what you're looking for if you're on the sideline for DePauw, seeing your quarterback take a massive lick right there. Would love to see the sophomore just get down. You're not anywhere near the out of bounds. Just slide down and eliminate some of those unnecessary hits by defenders barreling down like Crane.
Got 4. It'll be a 3rd down and 9. DePauw has not seen a lot of 3rd downs here today. 1 for 2 in total. They're 1 for 1 here in the second quarter. They've scored every time they've touched the ball today. This is drive number 6. Ballantyne pumps, comes back down to the bottom of your screen, complete to Leighton Lukowski, who jitterbugs his way out of bounds, and the drive continues just shy of the 30.
It feels like the consistent theme with a lot of these key contributors, they're just coming back from injury or they've been back for a couple of weeks, and they're starting to find their stride, and that's the case with Leighton Lukowski, who we saw in a breakout game against Kenyon College. 10 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. The next week, very little production, got injured, comes back, and in the last 2 weeks, 3 touchdowns. So let's see if that can be the thing that continues to keep him going.
13 yards on the catch. Ballantyne, end zone, touchdown. DePauw has scored every time they've touched the ball today. That's their 5th touchdown today. That's Frankie Ricciardi.
It helps when you have so many available options to go to. In the past game, Ricciardi a year ago in this same game, 2 catches for 100 yards. They liked what they saw a year ago, and that still is true 100% of the time in this past game. And for number 19, goes right in the middle of that defensive coverage, and another touchdown for the Tigers.
This is Buddy Gomez on to add the extra point. First time we've seen Gomez attempt a PAT here today, and it's all Tigers here on Senior Day. They lead 31-0. They've scored 5 touchdowns and a field goal on their 6 offensive possessions today, and this offense is humming along. We knew they were really good through the air last week, and it's continued here today.
It just shows you that when this team has a true purpose, a singleness of purpose to start a football game, they're one of the best teams in Division III, which is why they've had so much success. It feels like everyone's on the same page today. They felt a bit of a threat, it seems, from this team of the Fighting Scots, and they wanted to send a message, and right now that message has been a bold one.
6 possessions, 6 scores for DePauw. They scored 49 points last week, or 40 points last week in the win against Ohio Wesleyan. Tigers, the 13th ranked team in the coaches poll, 15th in the D3Football.com poll, all leading up to next week's big-time matchup in the Monon Bell Classic against arch rival Wabash, which you can catch here with the 1 o'clock kick time next Saturday for free here on the ISC Sports Network. Louis Lindsay and Damian Cunningham back deep again. They continue to kick it away from Lindsay, who had a 70-plus yard pick 6 last week. This one goes into the end zone from Gomez, and out to the 25 comes the Wooster offense. .58 seconds remaining here before halftime. Wooster does get the ball. They will receive that opening kickoff of the second half after DePauw won the coin toss and elected to receive. All 3 timeouts still left for both teams here. Wooster's only gotten into DePauw territory twice today. They've ended in an interception and a turnover on downs. Tigers rush 3. Boyle searching for an outlet, has a man in his face, and he airmails it towards the sideline.
Another thing that's worth noting that the DePauw defense is doing is allowing more guys to drop in coverage, not rushing as many people, trusting your defensive line to generate that pressure, forcing some hurried throws. And I would say thus far they are acing it in that department because it has not been a game of rhythm for this Fighting Scots offense, and that's all a credit for this defense playing on a string with one another from the front end all the way to the back end.
3 sacks today here for the DePauw defense. Again, just 3 on the D-line, all standing up. Nobody in the backfield with Boyle. Still has pressure in his face. Incomplete, threw that one short. Firing through were Luke Nolan and Joey Rowland in the grill of Boyle.
Those names should be synonymous with one another when it comes to rushing the passer. They ran a ET-TE twist inside. Nolan went first. Rowland went right underneath and forced the hurry throw, and they got there together.
The law firm of Nolan and Rowland.
We just came up with something. If they steal it next week, we're going to have a conversation with Greg Strahl and all the crew that's going to be on the call next week.
That's right. We just win our 10% cut of all T-shirt sales. That's all we ask. It's not much, but we just, creative licensing. 3rd down and 10 here from the 25. Again, a 3-man rush. Actually, it's a 2-man rush, and then Rowland decides to rush late, and then the law firm comes up and tag teams for the sack. Nolan got there first, and then Rowland on the delayed rush finished it off.
We're going to see if we can go the rest of the game and keep those names tag team together, because where one is, the other one isn't too far behind.
That is their first of the half.
Timeout DePauw, but that's not a good sight if you are Wooster. Your quarterback, Michael Boyle, limping off to the sideline after the 4th sack of the day here for the DePauw defense. We'll step aside for 30 and come back for the punt here from Wooster.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
A lot to cheer about here at Blackstock Stadium today. Home team on top 31-0. They await the punt here from Wooster after the sack from Rowland and Nolan. Good to see Hendricks back out there. Takes another tough fall as he almost got another one blocked. Carson Johnson takes it back to the 50. He gets hit hard by a whole host of Fighting Scots. But your starting quarterback, Boyle, limping off after the sack. That's the 2nd straight punt that Hendricks has taken a tough fall. It's been a rough first half here for Wooster.
That's been the consistent theme in this first half for the Fighting Scots. They really haven't been able to break the seal of it being the start of the game and trying to figure out what the plan is to actually finding a rhythm. It still feels like they're in game plan mode trying to figure it out, all the while DePauw being on the attack, and that explains this massive lead that they have just before halftime.
50 yards to go here for DePauw. Scott Ballantyne today has been great. 3 passing touchdowns, 1 to Samuels, 1 to his older brother Robbie, and 1 to Ricciardi the last possession. 2 timeouts left here for DePauw. We'll see if they can make it 7 possessions and 7 scores. Ballantyne pressured, underthrown, and charging through from the defensive line, Elijah Stewart, the junior out of Atlanta.
Junior doing a nice job creating an inside move, creating and generating some pressure all by his lonesome, gets inside and then gets up the field, hands up, something that you see from defensive linemen as they're rushing the passer. Run with your hands straight up. You never know if that's going to provide a distraction, as you saw Ballantyne trying to connect with his receiver.
The running back is Seth Menser. Ricciardi in the slot with Lukowski at the bottom of your screen. Ballantyne up top. Snap to Scott Ballantyne. 3-man rush for Wooster. And another pressure there from D.T. Franklin. The senior's been really active here in the first half on the D-line.
Well, this is an offensive line. Coach Dietz said, we're just not super tough inside. That's not their strong hold right now. That's not their strong suit in what they've been able to do up front with this offensive line in pass protection in particular, and then also in the run game. They defied some of those odds with how they ran the ball at the start of this game and continued that. But the reality is some of the stuff that you see on tape from them isn't very strong all the time.
3rd down and 10 after back-to-back incompletions from Scott Ballantyne. Pumps once, now rolls, throws, and finds that security blanket in Robbie Ballantyne. About a yard short of the first down mark. It'll be 4th down and 1.
Hurry-up mode by DePauw trying to see if they can get any semblance of points just before half. With only 12 seconds remaining in this one, still have some time to manipulate the clock a little bit and maybe get on for a last-second field goal going in 34-0.
Referees say that Robbie Ballantyne stepped out of bounds at the 42, so make it a 4th down and 2 here for number 15 or number 13 DePauw. Pistol look for Scott Ballantyne. The back still is Menser. Fake the handoff to him. Pass complete to Palmer Samuels, and he lunges forward across the 35 for the first down. Palmer Samuels with a nice first half.
Timeout, DePauw. That is their second of the half.
And instead of celebrating the first down, immediately Palmer Samuel gets up and calls timeout for Coach Dietz, who, as you see, just came into your screen, did the exact same thing. It's a young man that understands clock management and how precious it is to save every second possible.
Samuels with a long run today, and a touchdown catch as well, a couple of snags overall. One timeout left here for the Tigers. So what do you think DePauw will do here? 6.8 seconds left. We mentioned how we were here for the Kenyon game. Going on the other end of the field, they brought in the big fella Anthony Garzolini. He threw a 40-yard Hail Mary to the end zone. Could we see big number 1 making a trek out to the field once again?
I think they're going to play it safe, and they still have a timeout, so you can still have a healthy length play, which about 3 or 4 seconds across the middle just to get as many yards as you possibly can, but a quick pitch and catch, call another timeout, and see if you can get some more yards before the field goal before the end of this first half.
1st and 10 from the Wooster 35. Scott Ballantyne throws and wide of Lukowski. Takes 2.8 seconds off at a flat 4. Left to go here, and it looks like the field goal unit coming on here. We do not see Matthew Berry coming out to attempt this field goal. Still Buddy Gomez, who took the last PAT. Berry hit a 51-yarder earlier this year. That's the longest field goal in Division III since the NCAA outlawed the use of a tee. Short snapper is Caden Minogue. Dominic Turner, the holder. Gomez is 1 for 1 on field goal tries. It's here. That one was from 21 yards out. This one will be from 53 yards away, and it's a sidewinder, and it is no good. 0.8 of a second left, and Wooster will come out for one final play to take us to recess.
Exactly why you want to try and go eat up some more yardage and take down the total distance on that long field goal that we just saw from Gomez. But nonetheless, you still were able to see your offense execute with time ticking down before the end of this first half.
0.8 of a second left here in half number 1. Wooster had that really strong first drive trying to answer the 2-play touchdown drive on the very first possession of the game for DePauw, but they threw the interception, intercepted by Pratt, and Wooster's been playing behind here since the score from Whitehead back to get this game off, less than just 45 seconds into the ball game. Fumbled snap, falling on that one are the Fighting Scots, and that is Luke Schobarger, the backup quarterback, in for Boyle, so that was something we'll keep our eyes on. Starter Michael Boyle hurt towards the end of this first half for Wooster. It's all DePauw after one half of play here from Greencastle. The 13th-ranked Tigers on top 31-0 here on Senior Day. We're back with our halftime show next here on the ISC Sports Network.
Our students have a gold standard academic experience driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst pursuing a major in the creative school whilst doing a minor in liberal arts is something you just wouldn't find at another institution.
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
Special day here at DePauw University as they induct 6 new members of the 2025 Athletics Hall of Fame class. Courtney Lauer Carlson from the women's track and field team, who graduated from here in 2011. 3-time All-American, 2 in the heptathlon and 1 the pentathlon. She finished 4th at the 2011 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships, and she also placed 6th in the heptathlon back in the 2010 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. You see her being honored right there. Tom Downham was a 4-year letter winner as a kicker in 1986 and was named to the Pizza Hut All-America first team. He also holds the school record for the longest field goal ever made. That's 54 yards back in 1987. and he maintained the program record of 101 extra points made and field goals until 2016. Eric Fruth, cross-country and track and field member, earned 2 All-America honors at the 2002 NCAA Division III Outdoor Track and Field Championships. He finished 5th in both the 5,000 and 10,000 meters. Kathy Hesse-Driggs, 1991 grad, field hockey player here at DePauw. First team regional All-American selection in 89 and 90, second team in 1988. She was a team tri-captain and the team MVP in 1990. Craig Nelson, men's soccer player, 1980 grad, earned the All-Illinois Indiana Collegiate Soccer Conference honors in 1977, 78, and 79. Was a team MVP in 78 and 79 as well. He scored 49 goals here for the Tigers. That ranks second in program history, and his 100 career points are 4th. As you see Tom Downham right there in the middle of your screen, class of 1988 as we mentioned. And the man on the right's what makes us sound smart on these broadcasts. That's Bill Wagner, the Director of Athletic Communications here at DePauw. Joined the DePauw Sports as the Sports Information Director in December of 1986. Was named the Assistant AD for Athletic Communications in 2019. And Jared, he has served as the media host not just to slaps like us, but to over 100 NCAA Division III competitions, including 3 national championships. Bill is a treasure to work with.
Just a consummate professional, does an outstanding job, communicates early and often, really nice to talk to, just a joy to be around. So no one else more deserving than the people being honored today, but Bill in particular, because he's been a standstill for this program, for this community for so long. And it's these people that make the world go round. When they get honored, you really take time to give them their flowers. So we love you, Bill, and congratulations.
We'll turn it over to the PA announcer and get you the rest of the Hall of Fame ceremony here from 2025.
During her 4 seasons, the Tigers posted a 64-17-5 record, including a program best 17 wins in 1987, which was not broken until 2012. The 1990 All-Hoosier Conference for Women's Selection, Kathy is still tied for 3rd in school history with 64 career goals and tied for 6th with 139 points. Her 24 goals in 1990 are tied for 3rd in program history, and her 51 points that year are tied for 6th. Kathy Driggs, field hockey, class of 1991. From the class of 22, Eric Fruth, men's cross country and track and field. Eric was the 2000 and 2001 SCAC men's cross country individual champion and was 9th in 1999. He earned a spot as an individual in the 2000 NCAA Division III cross country championships and with the team in 2001. Eric earned 2 All-America honors at the 2002 NCAA Division III Outdoor Track and Field Championships as he finished 5th in both the 5,000 and 10,000 meter runs. He was a 3-time Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference champion in the 1,500 meters and twice won the 5,000 meter run. Fruth graduated with 4 program indoor records in the 1,500, 3,000, and 5,000 meters, and as a member of the distance medley relay. His 3 outdoor records came in the 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000 meters. He was named to the SCAC's 15th anniversary team. That's Eric Fruth, men's cross country and track. From the class of 1980, Craig Nelson, men's soccer. Nelson earned all Illinois Indiana Collegiate Soccer Conference honors in 1977, 78, and 79, and was the team MVP in 1978 and 1979. He was part of the 1977 squad which earned the program's first appearance in the NCAA Division III postseason. His 49 career goals ranked 2nd in program history, and his 100 career points are 4th. He scored 20 goals in 1978, which still ranks in a tie for 2nd. In the finale of the 1978 season, Craig delivered the game-winning goal with 5 seconds left in the second overtime to give the Tigers a 3-2 victory over Wabash College. On 3 occasions in his career, Craig scored a program record 4 goals in a game, including the final game of his career in 1979, when he scored all 4 goals in a 4-1 victory over Wabash. Craig Nelson, class of 1980. Bill Wagner, Assistant Athletics Director for Athletics Communication. Bill Wagner joined the DePauw staff as Sports Information Director in December 1986, and in the fall of 1987 became the first person to serve in that position in a full-time capacity. In a career that has spanned 5 decades, Wagner has promoted thousands of DePauw student athletes and staffed thousands of events and has hosted over 100 NCAA Division III championship events, including 3 national championships. Wagner served on the College Sports Communicators Board of Directors from 2005 to 2008 and became the first president of the Division III CIDA from 2008 through 2011. A 2014 CSC Hall of Fame inductee, Wagner has worked as a district coordinator for the Academic All-America program since 2002. The 2024 DePauw University Outstanding Gold Spirit Award recipient was presented the Bob Williams Helping Hand Award by the Indiana Sports Writers and Sportscasters Association of 2025. That's Bill Wagner, Assistant Athletics Director for Athletics Communication. Tiger fans, please join in congratulating all of these DePauw University Athletics Hall of Fame inductees. Tiger fans, please keep your eyes on midfield. This past spring, Tim Rahal, class of 1973, was inducted posthumously into the Indiana Football Hall of Fame. A 2022 DePauw Athletics Hall of Fame honoree, Tim Rahal made DePauw his home for more than 50 years. Rahal came to DePauw in 1969 from McKeesport, Pennsylvania, and was a 3-year starter at defensive tackle, and earned 3 varsity letters serving as captain his senior year. After graduating in 1973 with a BA degree in history, he earned the MAT degree in physical education from DePauw in 1976 while serving as a graduate assistant football coach. Following a year at Shenandoah High School, he returned to DePauw for the 1978-79 year. Rahal served as the defensive coordinator and coached defensive linemen, linebackers, and kickers for more than 45 seasons, and coached the track and field programs for 40 seasons. In 1979, he became the men's track and field head coach before serving as the first coach of the women's track and field program in 1981. Among the many highlights of Coach Rahal's track and field coaching career was coaching Allen Hill to DePauw's first individual national championship as Hill won the pole vault in 1981. At midfield, presenting the award is DePauw's Theodore Catula, Director of Athletics, Stevie Baker Watson, and accepting on behalf of the Rahal family is Allen Hill. Tiger fans, please join in celebrating the legacy of Coach Tim Rahal.
Our students have a gold standard academic experience, driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst pursuing a major in the creative school whilst doing a minor in liberal arts is something you just wouldn't find at another institution.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Here at halftime against Wooster, their regular season home finale before they take on Wabash next week in the Monon Bell Classic. Beautiful day, 50 degrees here from Blackstock Stadium. Rick Johnston, Jared Thomas here with you. DePauw put their foot down early. 2 plays, end zone. Caden Whitehead had both rushes, 61 yards all by himself, and in 45 seconds, DePauw led 7-0. They scored on their first 6 drives of the game. What have you liked most about the offense being so efficient?
Even though special teams gets talked about as an intricate part of every football game, you could point to that's being the only area of poor play, a missed field goal, and kicking a field goal, which explains the 3 points added onto the 4 scores that they had in that first half. But as you said, everything was just clicking on all cylinders. They played off of one another on both sides of the football, and they really suffocated the life out of the Fighting Scots as we saw some injuries start to happen for the Fighting Scots going into that halftime break. So really just a game that you say, hey, they faced some adversity, even though they've been winning, DePauw. Things that they've wanted to do better, they've done that here today. So I'm sure a welcome sight to everyone that's been supporting from afar and near for this DePauw Tigers team.
We mentioned off the top, they've been running a lot of guys in at cornerback, trying to figure things out on the defensive side. They've been rotating guys in and out of the lineup on the offensive line. They've been moving positions as well. You know, the one thing that stands out, you know, when we were here against Kenyon, Rylan Watkins was the starting right tackle. Aiden Button was the right guard. They flip-flop starting positions now. They opened up the big holes for Whitehead and Johnson, particularly on the first drive for Whitehead. And they've given Scott Ballantyne plenty of time to get back there and pass as a former O-lineman, as an O-lineman yourself. What you think about the guys up front? And they've been tested a lot this year.
Absolutely. It's just about what Coach Dietz said, and it's just figuring it out. Whatever has to be done in the right now to get this team willed to victory has to be done. So they're going to figure out answers at all of the problematic spots. They're going to figure out what combinations work best up front for that offensive line, because the only thing that matters is going 1-0. No matter how you do it, as long as you're in the win column, I know Coach Brett Dietz would be satisfied, as he probably is with how his team is playing in this first half.
His team on top, 31-0 here at half in their regular season home finale against Wooster. We'll take a break and come back with more of our halftime show next here on the ISC Sports Network.
Our students have a gold standard academic experience driven by faculty who know and care about each one of them.
We're fostering new ways of seeing and thinking, equipping students with a creative method that can be applied liberally to challenges in society, science, business, technology, and beyond.
The fact that a student might do a co-curricular program like Management Fellows whilst pursuing a major in the creative school whilst doing a minor in liberal arts is something you just wouldn't find at another institution.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Back here at Blackstock Stadium, it's been a highlight-filled first half for DePauw. Let's show you some of those top plays And Jared got going early. Caden Whitehead, we talked about DePauw's struggles on the ground, but he got things going big early.
Outstanding block by Bennett Smith, the left guard, leading the way for Caden Whitehead, and it carried over to the very next play, 34 yards, gets in the end zone to start the party for the Tigers.
Whitehead, 2 touches, 61 yards, and then it was Scott Ballantyne through the air. Palmer Samuels doing a little bit of everything, this time diving in from 11.
His usage rate was through the roof in that first half, blocking, carrying the football, and then as you saw, receiving a touchdown, going in the way in approval of all those in support of the Tigers.
There was a Barry field goal sandwich in there as well. This is the tip pass intercepted here by the folks in Pratt out of Toowoomba, Australia with the INT. First and only takeaway of the day. Then a lot of sacks. The law firm for DePauw coming up big, Nolan and Roland.
They were handing out a lot of litigation that was going in their favor, and that's a lot of time spent on the books charging an hourly rate, but for them it's a sackly rate because they were hounding the quarterback in Michael Boyle for the Fighting Scots.
That was fantastic. Clip that and send that in for the Emmy now. That was beautiful. Almost as beautiful as Robbie Ballantyne's first half. Had the touchdown catch, and whenever his brother needed him, Scott, he went to 84.
But that's really been the story all season, that time and time again they have connected down the field in critical situations, in big-time plays, and the same was true in the first half.
That's the Ballantyne 24-yard catch right there from younger brother Scott. Then to the end zone, and Ricciardi able to sneak behind that Wooster defense from 32 yards away. That made it 31-0 DePauw. As we mentioned, first 5 drives of the game, DePauw found points on 4 touchdowns. And the field goal, Gomez attempted a 53-yard field goal in the last drive of the second quarter, and he kicked it low on a squib as he tried to connect from 53 yards out. That would have been the longest field goal of the season after Barry had connected on one from 51 yards earlier. As we mentioned, that's the longest field goal in the NCAA since they outlawed the tee many, many years ago. Again, we'll keep our eyes on the quarterback situation for Wooster. Michael Boyle got hurt on their last drive of the second quarter. We saw him being helped off the field at the end of the first half. We'll take a break, come back with the second half kickoff next here on the ISC Sports Network.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
DePauw won the opening coin toss, and they elected to receive to start the first half, so we anticipate Wooster taking their choice to receive here to start half number 2. You see the DePauw men's soccer team getting ready for their match against Denison today over there at Riva Stadium, an action-packed afternoon of athletics here in Greencastle in the first couple of Saturdays here in November. Crossover season underway right now with the fall seasons winding down, the winter sports starting to ramp up here across the state at all different types of levels of college athletics. Fresh 15 put on the clock here to start quarter number 3. Again, Wooster, keep our eyes to see if Michael Boyle, the starting quarterback, will make it back out here to start the third quarter here for the Fighting Scots offense. He was hurt. Looked like it was a lower leg injury after one of those sacks. He took 4 of them in that first half. We'll keep our eyes to see if he comes out here to start half number 2. Buddy Gomez ready to kick this one away. He's been put into some more active kicking duties today with an apparent sidestep for Matthew Berry, the junior kicker. We saw him a couple of kicks earlier. I've seen Gomez handling his normal kickoff duties. Has also been handling some PATs, and we mentioned the field goal towards the end of half number 1. So Wooster will receive this opening kick. Keep your eyes on Louis Lindsay, 10 and white. He had a 73-yard pick 6 last week for the Fighting Scots, and DePauw's made it abundantly clear they're trying to kick it away from that guy right there as far as humanly possible. Paired in the back with Damian Cunningham, who's taking all the kickoff returns today for the Fighting Scots, as we're ready to go here from quarter number 3 here in Greencastle. And Gomez will not give Lindsay an opportunity. It's Cunningham once again. Nice little stutter step move, spins and dropped right after across the 20, but then the ball pops free, knocked around a couple different times, scooped up by the Tigers, and DePauw comes up with a fumble recovery on the opening kickoff of half number 2. It's their second takeaway today. Scooping this one up, Luke Russo.
Splash plays every single time will do it to you. The ball popped out, and not many people really paid attention. Then it was a delayed response, and by the time the Tigers got on it, they were almost able to escape and get into the end zone. This is something that they do. To start the Oberlin game, when I was here just a few weeks ago, that game started with back-to-back fumbles that DePauw ultimately ended up taking advantage of. This is an opportunistic team that if they get gifts like that by giving them the football back without having to work super hard for it, they will make you pay.
Backup quarterback Anthony Garzolini and gives off to the backup Carson Johnson, and he slips his way in for a 9-yard rushing touchdown just seconds into the third quarter.
You talk about establishing rhythm for Garzolini. Your first play into the game, now your 6th one that you've participated in this year, just handed off to Carson Johnson, making defenders miss tackles again, and he gets into the end zone to start the party in this second half.
17 seconds off of the third quarter clock. DePauw scored 45 seconds into the first quarter clock with a Whitehead rushing touchdown. Gomez's extra point, up and through. And it is a 38-0 DePauw romp here as they've dominated the series with Wooster 11-3. A fumbled kickoff to start the third quarter off from Wooster, recovered by the Tigers. And one play later, it's Carson Johnson into the end zone here for the 13th ranked team in the land.
If you want to talk about intra-position room competition, to start the game, Caden Whitehead, it took him 2 plays to score a rushing touchdown. This time, obviously, very different circumstances. It takes Carson Johnson 1 play to score a touchdown, starting off each half in the running back room. Once again, this is a player in Carson Johnson that missed almost a month of game action after the Wittenberg game, and since then, 17 carries, 98 yards in the last couple of weeks. You've seen what he's done today. Just a special talent backing up Caden Whitehead that they have in their running back room.
How important is it to get this running game going heading into the Wabash game next week? We know it's been the one struggle for DePauw offensively this year of the ground attack.
It's so important because the margin for error in the pass game is so much greater. You talk about ball security, you talk about defenders barreling down, potentially picking passes off. You talk about talent on the defensive secondary, guarding your receivers. So there's a lot more factors in play, but in the run game, it feels more secure. So if that's in place, everyone feels confident that no matter where you play, no matter where you are, your game can travel because you have times and things that you can do leaning on that run game.
Fair catch called for by Louis Lindsay, as Wooster will start 1st and 10 from their own 25 here. Again, just underway in the third quarter. A fumbled kickoff return by the Fighting Scots and Damian Cunningham, recovered by DePauw, and they score from the 9-yard line with Carson Johnson.
The drive will start at the 25.
Coach Brett Dietz talked about this Wooster team and how the last thing these seniors want to do on their last college football game is get blown out, and I'm sure that is a true sentiment. But when you run into a brigade like these Tigers, it's hard not to feel like this thing slipped out of your hands a long time ago. So credit to Coach Dietz and his staff getting his team prepared.
Luke Snowbarger completes to Tate Jernell. The backup quarterback is in here for Wooster. Injury to Michael Boyle at the end of the first half. So in comes Snowbarger, 6'7" sophomore, local kid out of Wooster, Ohio. Has completed now 6 of his 12 passes here in his sophomore campaign.
And if I were stepping in as a starter in the second half, I would do the exact same thing. Find number 11 in Tate Jernell. 768 receiving yards to start this game, 11 touchdowns, just the complete package. And wide receiver, as you just saw there, catching the ball in traffic. Maybe they can get him going a little bit in this second half.
Snowbarger drops the ball after the completion of 13 yards. One in Jernell again. Led him too far. In coverage on the play was Henry Pratt. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Please bring up 2nd and 10. Intended receiver,
Snowbarger
Tate
did
Grinnell.
play last week in the win against Kenyon as he dropped the snap. That's the second time that Snowbarger's dropped a snap out of 3 attempts here today.
Something you probably don't expect with the way that Michael Boyle has been playing, but it's the reality of playing sports is that injuries happen and you just never know when your number is going to be called. So for the backup quarterbacks everywhere, you do go through an acclimation phase when you go into the game and you least expected it. So something that we're seeing from Snowbarger here thus far in his opening act of the second half.
Handoff to Zelaya, goes nowhere for no gain. Firing across the defensive line was Chris Green there for the Tigers. There's third down.
Not to mention Snowbarger is 6'7", and his center in Michael Kennedy is 6 foot. So there is a height disparity between the two of those, and where that snap point comes back, considering how tall Snowbarger is, standing like the Statue of Liberty here in Greencastle.
You're a center. How hard is it? Do you ever have a quarterback that tall at 6'7" and such a height disparity between you and your QB?
I've had a tall quarterback, but not when I played center. I was playing offensive line, left tackle in particular, but he was about 6'6", 6'7" back in my high school days. And Colin Barthel, great basketball player. So I'm familiar with it, but not as familiar as Hildebrand is with catching interception. The third on the season, leads all departments in that category, does a nice job. As Coach Dietz talked about, just go see it and go make it happen, and that's exactly what Hildebrand did on this play.
Senior from Tulsa, Snowbarger throws his first INT, left her up there, was looking for Jernell, and that's 2 times with the ball in their hands here in the third quarter. And you can see the disparity on the face there of left guard Zay Wilkins for Wooster. Just cannot get out of their own way here in the third. Can the Fighting Scots?
This is Hildebrand, who was formerly a special teams ace and was recognized by the staff with what he did on special teams, but he's evolved into a key defensive piece. And to start today's contest, 27 tackles, and then adds another notch into that interception department and gets another one up to number 3 on the season. Real good story for Mr. Hildebrand.
Seth Menser, the senior running back, in here for DePauw. He'll lose a yard of the play back to the 49 of Wooster. So the Tigers up 38-0 here to just start the third quarter. The backup quarterback Anthony Garzolini in. Third-string running back Seth Menser in here for the Tigers, and a bevy of backup wide receivers in there as well, as the Tigers trying to get a lot of guys some time here in the regular season home finale. Garzolini 7 through 11 through the air. Menser right up the gut. Keeps those legs churning with a couple of Fighting Scots holding on to him. Quan Russell, all 275 pounds of him, along with Charlie Scoggin, combined for the tackle.
Coach Dietz, in his time as head coach, said he had plenty of time being an assistant, joined this staff in 2010 and didn't become the head coach until just before COVID. So spent time with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks, offensive coordinator in 2014. And I asked him in our first call that we had back in September, what have you learned as being the head coach? And he said, I truly just had time to figure out what has worked throughout the years and what hasn't. But the one thing I love about him and what he's learned, and I think what he already brought being the head coach, is when he gets a big lead, he's going to give opportunities to other kids to get in and play. Why? Because you're respecting the football gods and not running up the score and being a showboat, but respecting it with the way in which you approach it by allowing other guys to get in. It allows some of the younger guys to get some experience that you may need as you go into postseason play.
Which the Tigers hope they're going to get, still hoping for an at-large bid to the NCAA Division III playoffs. 3rd down and 5 here from the Wooster 43 after Hildebrandt's 3rd interception of the year. DePauw might be sending in a new play with Mason Espinoza, their offensive coordinator. Garzolini's first pass attempt coming right here. Caught on the far side of the field. That'll be good enough for a first down inside the 45-yard line. Tristan Foran on the catch.
One thing you don't really see a lot of is FCS transfers down to Division III, and that's Garzolini. And then you talk about a quarterback battle that goes on between Garzolini and Ballantyne. So you wonder, wow, if Garzolini was good enough coming from South Vermilion to go to Indiana State, he should automatically get the job when he comes to Greencastle, but not so fast. So just speaking to the talent that resides on this roster.
Flag in the air. They're ready to hand it off to Caden Bond, their
False
sophomore
start.
running back.
Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, first down.
False start on the backup left guard Mark Ortiz. We mentioned Garzalini, the Terre Haute, Indiana native, played for the Sycamores before transferring here to DePauw, a year ahead of the sophomore starter Scott Ballantyne. 1st and 15, the running back Caden Bond, who started his college career at Ball State. From the Muncie area and Delta High School, 2 sports star there for the Eagles on the football field and the basketball court. And he loses one back to the 40, and it'll be 2nd and 16.
Caden Bond on the carry. Wyatt Harris made that tackle. Timeout for injury.
And an injured DePauw Tiger offensive lineman here on the play. Not what you wanted to see here from either side just early on here in the third. We'll step aside here on the ISC Sports Network.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous. I gotta make friends, and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
The injured Tiger is the backup right tackle Gavin Ippolito, 6'4" junior out of Cleveland, Ohio, being helped off the field by 2 of his teammates in Nick Ruiz and Bennett Smith. And for the DePauw coaching staff here, Jared, you don't want to see it, period. You don't want to see any of your guys hurt, but with as many guys that have gotten hurt and as many different lineup combinations they've had on the offensive line, losing a backup for even any amount of time here is tough for the Tigers here in the second to last week of the season.
Going back to our conversation with Brett Dietz, he said it's been interesting because every single starter offensive line-wise at some point in time has touched the ground. What does he mean by that? All that means is the training staff actually had to go out and assist said offensive lineman off the field. So you talk about having a shuffle the deck type of responsibility to make sure you have the right guys in there. Just a lot of injuries that have hit that up front line of defense protecting the quarterback for the Tigers.
Garzalini looking for Ian Busher. Backup tight end, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 15 from the 39.5-yard line.
Brock Savon made the tackle.
Garzalini now 1 for 2. Starting quarterback has started at quarterback here in the third quarter, in the second half, I should say, after Ballantyne was great. Had 3 passing touchdowns in that first half to 3 different wide receivers. And now Bond walks up next to Garzalini. A whole bunch of folks on the line, 6 in fact, but only rushing 3 is Wooster. Garzalini had a little pocket of space, threw it behind Hunt Hildebrandt, and it'll be 4th down on the incompletion.
Hunt Hildebrandt, the intended receiver. Brings up 4th down.
So for the first time today, we will see Buddy Gomez in a punting role here for the Tigers, as number 13 DePauw unable to capitalize on the Holt Hildebrandt interception.
Buddy Gomez in punt formation.
Gomez on the year averaging just over 42 yards per boot. Has put 9 of them inside the 20-yard line, and Louis Lindsay back deep here for the Fighting Scots. So snap, able to ride an end-over-end kick out of there. Trying to save that one from going into the end zone, but the Tigers batted away, and they did. Nicely done by one of the gunners there for DePauw to dive into the end zone and smack it back. It was either Joey Fico or Gray Schmidl, but either way, nicely done there by the DePauw gunner.
Talked about special teams not necessarily being a strong suit that we witnessed in that first half, but it's plays like that that you credit that unit for being able to execute a sky punt, wanting to punt them down inside the 10-yard line, and they executed to a perfection. Nice job by that special teams unit.
Ball down at the Wooster 7. That's where the Fighting Scott offense takes over. And the backup quarterback in Snowbarger after Boyle got hurt at the end of the first half. Handoff for 3 up to the 10-yard line. For Manny Zelaya, the starting running back.
Manny Zelaya has come on in the last recent weeks, accumulating 144 of his 166 total rushing yards in the last 3 weeks. So they've seen a bunch of different faces at that running back position, but it seems that they've rode the wave of whoever has the hot hand at that particular moment. In the last few weeks, it's been Manny.
Lines up deep in the pistol here behind the 6'7" backup quarterback, Luke Snowbarger. Play action. Pressure, got to Snowbarger, hit as he throws, overthrew Jernell. I think covers that time was the defensive back for DePauw. That was Aaron Keller.
If you're sitting at home and you're watching as a fan, you can always confirm if the coach has the team's attention when you see the transition from the starters to the backups. Can the level of play be maintained? And so far, as we go into the halfway point of this third quarter, I would say yes, it is. There has been no drop-off from the backups from what the starters did. Just a credit to everyone being locked into what the game plan was, because there was a potential that you get in just like every other game. That was the case for today. So far, so good.
Illegal substitution on the offense, 12 men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, third down.
You can see Michael O'Brien, the senior tight end, running off the field. A miscommunication there personnel-wise. Here, that's going to make third down even longer here for the Fighting Scott offense. Third down and 12, back to the Fighting Scott 5. Zelaya, the running back, behind Snowbarger in the pistol. Ball shows pressure. And they'll rush forward. Delayed blitz. Snowbarger hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. One-handed pick for the backup safety, Jeremiah Miller.
That's another tip ball, Rick. That's Danny McCoy, linebacker, that gets his hand as he's dropping in coverage right there. And then the DB is able to come in, and Miller, and gets the interception. The one-hand stylistic finish with the offhand on the interception. This is a defense that's just flustering everyone for those in the Fighting Scott White, and they're just having a party right here at Blackstock Stadium.
First interception of the year for the former Logansport Berry. And another takeaway, the third one here of the second half here by the DePauw defense. Their fourth takeaway in total, 3 interceptions, and the fumble return, the fumble recovery, I should say, on that opening kickoff here of the third. A Wooster offensive lineman had to be helped off the field as injuries starting to mount here for the Fighting Scots.
This is a high-leveled offense that the Fighting Scots had. A quarterback that started the year throwing for back-to-back over 300 yards, multiple receivers having over 100 yards to their name in that department. A defense that has just stymied them here this afternoon. Not been blanketed with the donut in the scoring department. If you're the Fighting Scots thus far this season, they've seen 7 to their name thus far in this 2025 season, but not 0. Still time to right that wrong, but so far not a great effort from them offensively, as they have no points to show for anything and multiple turnovers.
Garzolini almost gave that ball right back, threw it right at the hands of Louis Lindsay, who had the 73-yard pick six a week ago. That was his first INT for the senior this year. Your 2nd and 10 from the Scott 20. Play action, a little RPO, slant, broken up by Grady Harbin. They're trying to connect with Foreign once again. It's 3rd and 10.
The same type of concept we saw the Ballantyne brothers take advantage of in that first half. Just the RPO bang route just behind a mini post that goes over the head of the second line of defense. Usually an apex defender that splits the difference between the wide receiver and the last tackle on that respective side, or a second line defender that goes right over the head, not able to connect there with Garzalini in at quarterback, but something that obviously is part of the identity in that run past option game for the Tigers.
Clock is stopped. It's 9:21 left to play in the third stanza. It's been all DePauw today as they go to the end zone looking for Foreign, and he catches it over the shoulder. Garzalini with his third passing touchdown of the year. That's number 1 for Tristan Foreign.
Instead of getting cute and going to run past options, hey, we're just going to run past you in Foreign, and Garzalini's going to drop it in the bucket. Foreign does not break stride, and something that's been foreign to him has been getting into the end zone, but not here today on senior day with all the recognition being at the forefront.
You got to copyright some of these lines. These are great. Look at you, a true wordsmith. Jared Thomas, Mark Twain, look out. Gomez for the PAT out of the hold of Dominic Turner. And Gomez tries to kick that one to the soccer field. Some young fans go racing after a part-time souvenir. They'll have to give that ball back. But it's all DePauw here over Wooster, 45-0 here on senior day for the Tigers. We're back in 30.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over-invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to do all of it. There's a hunger that we get that starts here.
Just a couple of missteps today for DePauw offensively. A ton to cheer about for the Tiger cheerleaders and the black and gold faithful here at Blackstock Stadium. Just a missed field goal. That's been the only, and a punt. That's been the only 2 negative drives on the afternoon here for DePauw. They've scored every other time they've touched the rock today. 6 TDs in total and that field goal. Without their starting quarterback, Michael Boyle, who got hurt at the end of the first half. You can see him on crutches across the way from us, so his afternoon is done, but chatting with another one of his teammates who's on crutches as some injuries have started to mount here for Wooster. Fair catch called for by Lindsay, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Scott offense.
Unfortunate chain of events that have transpired for the Fighting Scots, especially for junior quarterback and Michael Boyle. And it was just a couple of weeks ago that he eclipsed 1,000 yards passing in 4 games. And then fast forward to just last week, he eclipsed the 2,000 passing mark against Kenyon College and started today just shy of 2,300 passing yards and ranked in 3rd in program history in touchdown passes with 24. But without his services here today, even when he was in, it was not good enough. And even when the backups are in, it's even worse. This Paul defense is just flying around.
3rd string quarterback Damon Hooks is in. His pass almost intercepted as Aaron Keller made another nice move there for DePauw defensively.
Everyone flying around in that secondary. If you're the DePauw Tigers, they needed a response and a reaction from the secondary that's given up almost 240 passing yards per game on the season. So when you get that when you give up that type of production, you need a game like this as you go into what is such a storied rivalry next week against the Little Giants.
Hooks, freshman quarterback from Indianapolis and Arsenal Technical High School, made his college debut last week, went 1 for 2 through the air for 9 yards. Play action, zone read, calls it himself, tries to find the sideline, gets hammered hard out of bounds by Keller once again. And that'll make it 3rd down for Wooster.
Bumped out of bounds. Aaron Keller makes the tackle.
3rd down and 7 for the Wooster offense from their own 28-yard line. As the Fighting Scots have not been able to cross midfield here in this 3rd quarter. Just joining us, the starting quarterback Michael Boyle, hurt at the end of the first half. He's over on crutches across the way from where we sit here in the press box at Blackstock Stadium. And then Luke Snowbarger also recently got hurt on that last drive as well for Wooster. So the freshman 3rd stringer Damon Hooks is in at the controls. DePauw rushes 4. Hooks trying to use his legs, throws as he's almost taken down complete to Cam Crago. And a key third down hookup from Hooks to Crago moves the sticks.
And Hooks a little slow to get up as he took off on that scramble before he found Crago. Seems like some DePauw defenders dove at his legs, and he paid a hefty price because of it. Nonetheless, does an outstanding job getting the football out to Cam Crago, who's been a 100-yard receiver in 2 different games this year, last week against Kenyon College and against Wabash, the aforementioned Little Giants that the Tigers go and see in Crawfordsville.
Time out on the field for the injured Damon Hooks will step aside with 8:06 left to play here in the third.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
Third-string quarterback Damon Hooks helped off the field. And we do see Luke Snowbarger back in the number 2 quarterback for Wooster. Got hit as he threw past last possession before being subbed in here for Hooks. Hooks helped off the field, and so Snowbarger, the sophomore, back in here for the first down and 10 from the 45 after a 13-yard catch and run from Cam Crago. Wooster just has not been able to get their rhythm here offensively today, particularly here in the second half. Another fumbled snap from Snowbarger. That's the third one of those that he's had to deal with today, and you can see the frustration there from the sophomore.
Something that is so simple can be like the sky is falling in a game that's just gone utterly wrong at every turn for the Fighting Scots, and that's just catching the center quarterback exchange. That's been a level of concern for the Fighting Scots, as they've been unable to do it in this second half alone, not to mention the inability to drive down the field and score points.
An 8-yard loss, and it's second down and a bunch, or 9-yard loss, I should say, second down and a bunch. 4 wide here for Snowbarger. Starting tailback is Zelaya behind him. Zelaya, excuse me, and he's able to motor his way forward up to the 41. That's 4 of those yards back. It'll be third down and 13, or 14, excuse me. Final regular season game of the year for Wooster. Again, that unique scheduling quirk with their bye week being next week. So the final game of the careers for these seniors for Wooster, and obviously DePauw next week, Monon Bell Classic in Crawfordsville against Wabash with a 1 o'clock kick time here on the ISC Sports Network. Third and a bunch with 6.5 left to play in the third. Snowbarger whips it across, hits his receiver in the head. It's intercepted. Another INT here for the Tigers, and rumbling in towards the end zone goes the DePauw defense. Their first score of the afternoon defensively. Danny McCoy on the INT, but a flag is thrown, 2 of them in fact, back near the line of scrimmage.
Danny McCoy was talked about on the previous possession because he was responsible for tipping the ball before Jeremiah Miller picked that one off, and this time he receives a tip ball into an interception. It's been a consistent theme here in the state of Indiana with a lot of these football teams that we have. The Colts, as I talked about, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now the DePauw Tigers against these Fighting Scots. Anytime that ball gets tipped up in the air.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the interception, personal foul, offense number 78, unnecessary roughness. That foul will be assessed on the kickoff.
So the pick 6 for Danny McCoy, the senior. Gonna look at it right here. Is it The ball just bulleted off the intended target. That looked to be Crago, and then it was off to the races for the 225-pounder McCoy.
And Aaron Keller doing a nice job just peeling back. Too many times guys on defense get interceptions and they're returning it, and the guy closest, the ball carrier, doesn't get blocked. Aaron Keller, heads up play by him, peels over his right shoulder. Right there, the guy saw him, and that is wide receiver Landon Madrano, and he was able to make eye contact with Keller. Keller pitched a nice block. McCoy gets escorted into the end zone.
52-0 here for DePauw today, as they have done no wrongs. Let's get a look at the Barron's bus and the many fine ways to travel around our great state of Indiana. And all smiles here for the Tigers. A lot of happy seniors on that sideline, particularly for McCoy. His senior day here, get a pick six on seniors has got to be pretty special.
That's something that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life, that in the game that you get glorified the most, you were able to score a touchdown as a linebacker. Impressive play there from Mr. McCoy.
Every time that Wooster has had the ball here in the third, Jared, they have turned it over. 3 picks and the fumble, obviously, to start things here in the third. It has just been just a really, really tough third here for the Fighting Scots coming out of the locker room. They received it. Opening kickoff to start quarter number 3, and it's just been downhill here ever since. Good to see Brock Sivan back out of the field here for Wooster. He'll be deep to take this kick return along with Lindsey. Sivan applauded for his ability. We talked with Brett Dietz, the DePauw head coach, to kind of be all over the field and making plays today, but this DePauw offense has been clicking on all cylinders. Kickoff from the 50, easy work for Gomez to put her in the end zone for a touchback. 1st and 10 from the 25 upcoming here for the Wooster offense.
But Brock Sivan, an impressive football player for the Fighting Scots. 6 games with at least 10 tackles. Leads in that department at the start of today's contest at 85. So if he don't know what the official tally is, as we're having some malfunctions with our official stat book, but if he's able to get 15 tackles on the day, that gets him to 100 at least on the season. And then this is a guy that, if you go back to when Coach Austin Holter took over the program, you couldn't travel in their locker room and not hear someone talking about the leadership that Brock Sivan brings to this Fighting Scots team. So a guy who's really been leading from the front the entire time, from the start of the year all the way to now.
Handoff. Snowbarger back in there, gives off to Manny Zelaya. Short gain for the Scots on 1st and 10. Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Bryson Douglas checking in as the backup running back, and another offensive lineman down. Actually, no, this is the running back, Manny Zelaya. So another injured Fighting Scot here today. Has been tough sledding here on the injury front here for the visitors. We'll step aside with 5:50 left to go in the third.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
Wooster offense back on the field after Manny Zelaya, the running back, helped off. Turnovers and injuries, the story of the third quarter here for Wooster. Luke Snowbarger, the backup quarterback, back in, as they have used 3 different quarterbacks today. Have the Fighting Scots. Give. This is Bryson Douglas, the backup running back, no gain. Firing through Robert Passanato amongst others up front there for the DePauw defense.
The last turnover-riddled game for the Fighting Scots had to have been their 28-7 loss to Denison, a game in which Boyle threw 3 interceptions. That number is a lot greater today, but the result pretty similar. You lose by 3 scores, and a team like DePauw that's clicking on all cylinders like they have been today can really stretch that former loss to Denison by 21 points up to 52 with still time to go.
Incomplete, intended for Jernell as Snowbarger moved the pocket. 4th down and 8 upcoming.
And you got 4th down and 8.
The punting unit looks to be making their way onto the field here for the Fighting Scots. Hendricks on to punt. Third punt of the afternoon here for Hendricks, his first here in the second half. Good boot. Here's Evan Deinhardt on the return for DePauw. Deanhart, junior out of Lafayette, Indiana. And a lot of folks getting some playing time here for DePauw on Senior Day, a day, Jerry, like you mentioned, you honor your seniors, you celebrate them the day that they're celebrated the most.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, return team number 3, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So 15-yard penalty.
Other way.
Against DePauw. Mike's still a little bit hot there from Andrew Kepler. 4:42 left to go here in the third. Obviously, the penalty not what DePauw would want to see, but Jared, I don't think you could have asked for a better day if you're the Tigers heading in to that big game next week, obviously against Wabash.
Truthfully, this is what Senior Day is all about at every single level. When you honor your seniors, you want to get those guys that maybe haven't even played in their entire career an opportunity to at least step onto the field. And for DePauw here today, they've got a lot of guys that are going to play already thus far and will continue to do so, as we still have a quarter and a little under a half to go. So a lot of guys getting opportunities to end their college careers for the Tigers here in Greencastle on a high note.
Handoff from the backup quarterback Garzolini. It was Quan Russell on the tackle. Russo on the carry. That's Luke Russo, senior out of Louisville. You see the cast on that left hand as he comes in, gets a carry. And Caden Bond, the sophomore, comes in to spell him. Subs coming in and out here for DePauw offensively. Alex Hoover on the field for the Tigers at a wide receiver spot. Bond was the leading rusher for DePauw last week. 3 carries for 38 yards, and their running game just couldn't get going. Garzolini, beautiful ball, and it's going to be intercepted on the sideline by a diving Charlie Scoggin for his 3rd pick of the year for the sophomore from Midway, Kentucky.
An interception against Wilmington at the start of the season, as well as an interception against Denison. And this one is probably the most impressive one because watch the concentration all the way through the fall. Fingertips it, rolls over, keeps his hand underneath, separating it from the ground, and comes up with a very nice turnover for the Fighting Scots.
First takeaway today for the Wooster defense. Scoggin with his 3rd interception of his sophomore year. For the first time today, Wooster will take an offensive snap in DePauw territory. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Tiger 44. Snowbarger waiting for the snap, gets it. Play action. Nice way to move through the pocket. Underthrows Jernell, tapped away, and almost intercepting that one was Aaron Keller. He's had a really nice 3rd quarter here for DePauw off the bench.
He's been the ultimate teammate. He's been a lead blocker for Danny McCoy as he was going into the end zone on a pick 6, and here doing his job, playing the football all the way to the high point of it, and almost comes down with another interception to go in favor of the Tigers. Keller's been all over the field today.
Intended man was Tate Jernell. And Boyle, starting quarterback for Wooster, hurt at the end of the first half. Snowbarger and Hooks have been taking the snaps here at QB for the Fighting Scots after recess. Give to Douglas, shimming his way forward for a couple. One of those different backups in there. Vincent Neal, the D lineman on the stop here for DePauw.
Bryson Douglas started the season as the main character in the running game. Also the leading rusher for the team. Started today's game with 306 total rushing yards and a touchdown. As you can see so far in the run game, they've been doing it by committee with a bunch of different guys back there, but he is the workhorse as he's done the most production for the Fighting Scots.
3rd down and 7. Pass out to the sideline, complete by Brody Snyder. But a good open field tackle to stop Snyder a yard short of the line to gain there by Robert Passanato.
That's an outstanding tackle by Passanato. Doesn't allow the offensive ball carrier to go forward any much, but creates contact that forces him to go lateral, reminding him that they still have a yard to go to actually get a first down.
Wooster has had 1 first down here in this second half. Need 1 yard here for number 2. Hand off straight up the gut. And we'll see where the spot is for Bryson Douglas. Initially, it looked like he had gotten it, but then the way the referee started running, they started backtracking towards that 35-yard line, and he's going to be stopped a yard short. So a turnover on downs for the DePauw defense. And the 13th ranked team in the country gets it back with 2:23 left to play in the 3rd.
Probably some motivation for Vincent Neal, the defensive lineman from Carmel, after he saw his Greyhounds lose in overtime to the Shamrocks of Westfield, but does his best impersonation of all the success that he had in Carmel here on senior day. The junior doing a nice job shedding the block and then getting involved on the tackle, preventing the first down.
It's been all Tigers here today. They scored 2 plays in from scrimmage on 2 Caden Whitehead runs of totals of 61 yards in total, 34 yards on the score. They have not looked back since here today against Wooster. Caden Bond, handoff, working that left side, knocked down by Savan, amongst others. Wyatt Harrison there as well for the Fighting Scots defensively.
You talked about Caden Bond being the leading rusher a week ago, and he is that talented. Played quarterback for a period of time at Delta when he was in high school up in Muncie, Indiana. So that's a guy that is multifaceted, that has a lot of talent, but more times than not is going to hurt you with his physicality running the football.
The wintertime was on 2 teams that made deep runs in the state tournament at Delta. Was one of the best on-ball defenders for the Eagle basketball team. Garzlini with a man in motion. Gives off to that motion man with Bond out leading the charge. It's Alex Hoover on a jet sweep. He's pushed out of bounds. Here comes 3rd down.
Brock
Savan, top tackler, one of the captains for the Fighting Scots. As Jared mentioned earlier, came in 15 tackles shy of 100 here for his senior season.
And has had a productive senior season after missing all of last year with an injury. So to miss an entire season of competition and then come back and be the number 1 guy in the defensive department for your respective ball club has been impressive from Mr. Savan.
3rd down and 6 from their own 39 for the DePauw offense. Play action to Bond, pass out to the near side complete, and a nice open field tackle there by the Scots defensively. It was Grady Harbin, the starting corner, coming up and making the tackle on Ian Boucher.
Credit the Fighting Scots for continuing to play despite the circumstances of what you see on the screen.
Our students have a gold standard academic.
Them in their effort to just continue to fight and scratch and claw, and that's always going to be rewarded. It may not always be in what you do on the scoreboard, but in other things, good fortune coming their way.
Harbin, the freshman out of Lake Orion, Michigan, making his impact felt here today. Senior Louis Lindsay, the deep man, take this punt here from Buddy Gomez. Gomez bombs it deep Lindsey has to go all the way inside his 5 to take this one as he reverses field. Lindsey, we mentioned the pick 6 last week. And cut down right before he could get there to full song by Robert Passanato. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter. DePauw on top. It was the third quarter full of giveaways for the Wooster Fighting Scots, and DePauw capitalized every time they touched the rock. We head to the fourth. Hear from Greencastle next.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go! Ah!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous, but I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away, and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people and these places and these memories that I have.
Flag occurred before the kick at the end of the third quarter, so we will punt once again. That is how our fourth quarter will start, with Buddy Gomez bringing the special teams unit back out here for DePauw as they outscore Wooster 21-0 in that third quarter. It was a 3 interception and 4 total takeaway third quarter for DePauw, both on special teams and defensively. So we start the fourth with a punt. Gomez, senior out of Indianapolis. And Louis Lindsey back deep once again here for the Scots on special teams. Gomez bombed the last one he had, sent Lindsey all the way back inside his 5. Gets another just titanic kick that forces Lindsey to call for a fair catch just outside of the 30. But Gomez, at all 5'11" and 175 pounds, he has got a cannon for a leg.
It runs in the family. Got a chance. I think I talked about this on the first game we had together. Was teammates with his brother at Cathedral and Ben Gomez, and just the ability to kick the ball with such precision and power is something that has definitely run in their family, so no surprises there.
They will flip the field at a moment's notice. And out comes the Wooster offense. Again, they have been hit with injuries a lot in that third quarter. The starter Boyle lost at the end of the first half. Third stringer Damon Hooks in the third. A couple of offensive linemen as well. Here's the sophomore Snowbarger. Design run. This is Brody Snyder, the wide receiver, trying to find an edge on the outside. And there have been a lot of bright spots today offensively here for Wooster, but I've liked what I've seen out of Brody Snyder. He's made a couple of tough catches and able to take a lot of short gains and make them a little bit long.
Well, it was that first drive when Michael Boyle was in the game. They were actually able to connect a couple different times. For one, on a critical third down and conversion when they were backed up in that first drive of the game. So just doing a nice job, because truth be told, they have 4 legitimate receivers, the Fighting Scots do, that have made teams pay this season. So for him to insert himself into the same conversation in this game alone has been a very huge kudos to him.
Empty set, Snowbarger, pass out to the far sideline, deflected and incomplete. A couple of Tigers there in coverage along with Chris Green. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Remember, next week, you can watch the 2025 Monon Bell Classic here on the ISC Sports Network between number 13 DePauw and Wabash. Those 2 teams came in tied at 5-1 for second place in the NCAA. Everybody trying to track down John Carroll, who upset DePauw on this field a couple of weeks back. They're in the driver's seat right now for the conference title and the automatic bid to the D3 playoffs. Pressure breaks down. Snowbarger throws, able to complete as he was falling down to the turf. Able to complete it to Landon Medrano. Short of the first down, but good pressure there up front by one of the backup D linemen there for DePauw.
Medrano's name came up when he was trying to chase down Danny McCoy a few possessions ago when he got the pick six. And that time, Snowbarger doing a nice job staying alive despite the defensive line barreling down on him. And he's able to get the ball to Medrano, but it wasn't enough to get the first down.
Adonis Howard on the pressure. And it's Hendricks on to punt here for the Fighting Scots. Lineman late to get on there. That's Nate Chapman for Wooster. And Hendricks sends her away. Dean Hart couldn't get away from the very first man. Good coverage there by JoJo Hare, one of the backup wide receivers for Wooster. And less than 2 minutes into the fourth, DePauw gets the ball back, leading here on Senior Day. We talked with DePauw head coach Brett Dietz this week, and we asked him about the high-octane offense that we had seen a week ago from Wooster. They had played some teams really close, including John Carroll and some other key stretches throughout the year. So we asked him about, focusing in to this game and not looking ahead towards the Wabash next week. And he said, no, we're good handling this week. We'll handle next week when Saturday's done. And they are handling business here today. Thrown into traffic, intercepted on the pass by third-string quarterback Jack Kazmierzak.
Dietz went as far as to say as they haven't even done anything regarding the Little Giants of Wabash. That just shows you the respect and how they revere their opponents, something that he even talked about at the beginning of the season, treating every single game as if it is a national championship, because nothing is guaranteed in the NCAA and in Division III. So that's just a mindset that he's been able to press upon his team, and they've carried it and not taking it lightly.
Grady Harbin on the interception there for Wooster, his second INT of the year. And the Fighting Scott offense back on the field here 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Snowbarger drops back to pass, looking end zone, and tapped into the midst of Crago. But neither he nor the defender in front of him could come up with that pass, as that was Ethan Beaupre.
So many opportunities with chances to come up with interceptions, ones that have been taking advantage of, those that have been missed, but a lot of loose footballs flying around on the field defensively if you're DePauw.
Second down and 10 from the 24. DePauw has scored at least twice in every quarter here so far today, and Snowbarger fumbles the snap for the fourth time today. He's able to fall on it. It'll be a loss of about a yard, and it'll be third down and 11.
Once again, just unable to secure the snap, and it's very simple, something that becomes mindless. But if you mess it up so many times, it seems like it's a weakness. And so far, Snowbarger has not been able to take advantage of any of these mishandled snaps by securing them cleanly.
In 4 giveaways in the third quarter, 3 picks in the fumbled kickoff to start the stanza, and then 4 fumbles in total here from Snowbarger. Backup quarterback in place of the injured Michael Boyle. Third down and 11. Snowbarger and the Wooster offense tries to take it himself. The big 6'7" man rumbling his way forward. Finally stopped by Richard McIntosh. But he's short of the line to gain. So fourth down, and we'll call it 3.5. Dom DeTola entering here for DePauw, the defensive line, senior from Northwest Indiana in Sherrillville. Bryson Douglas, the running back here behind Snowbarger. Wooster inside DePauw territory. They give to Douglas, and he goes nowhere fast. It'll be a turnover on downs. firing through was Robert Passanato, who's played nicely here in the second half.
So many defenders at the linebacker level and in the secondary have gotten their name called today, and it's just been a consistent theme of relentless effort to swarm to the football every single opportunity that you get. So a huge credit to defensive coordinator Ryan McElwain and this defensive front and secondary that he has flying all over the field today here at Blackstock Stadium.
I think my guy on the drums here has gotten tired. He's getting a lot to play about. There's a lot. They've been playing the fight song a lot today. I wonder if his hands are tired, his arms are tired, the fingers.
At this point, they're over there making their own music. They've run out of what was scheduled and started to do their own thing.
So we're playing jazz now is what I'm hearing. We're just freelancing with jazz. All right. Jazz from the DePauw Pep Band here in Greencastle on a Saturday. Jack Kazmierzak, junior quarterback out of Carmel, Indiana, back on the field for the second time. Puts it in the belly of Russo, who almost fumbled it, got it back, and then he launches himself forward for a nice gain up to the 35.
Russo just did an outstanding job. Didn't even have the football before he was able to process to put a move with his foot in the ground and then get north and south, making a 6-yard gain look very, very easy, considering all things that happened pre-snap and then obviously trying to secure the exchange.
And you saw that big cast on the left hand, only playing with one usable hand there. It'll snag that handoff in. Caden Bond, the running back, in now here for DePauw. On a second down and manageable. Bond gets it, and he runs right into the big arms of the waiting defensive end. D.T. Franklin has a sack back in the first half. Franklin's made his name known a couple of times today.
DT is going to continue to play every chance that he gets. That's not a guy that's going to give up just because the scoreboard says 52-0. As you said, he did his Memphis dance a little bit earlier. That's a guy that's got a lot of soul, and he takes pride in playing that defensive line position.
Do you have a Memphis dance during the season with the Memphis Showboats?
I do not, but I have to ask my girlfriend. She's from Memphis, so she will have to teach me what they call the Memphis jug. So I will ask her to let's get those lessons going.
I think we need to see that. I think the world wants to see that, actually. Gray Schmidl on the catch, but a flag is thrown. Came up short of the needed yardage to move the chains on third down.
We call that smart passing.
Wonder if Schmidl maybe would have gone out of bounds and came back in, potentially. Here's Andrew Kepler.
Pass interference, offense, 15-yard penalty, still third down.
So the pass interference there presumably on the receiver, Schmidl, trying to create that separation. And so moving back, it'll be third down and 21. Back to the 18-yard line. They'll actually put it right about the 20-yard line. Still a 15-yard mark off. A third down and long for Kazmierzak, the third quarterback, seeing time today here for DePauw. Drops back to pass. Wooster rushes three. Rolls, throws, complete, and then bumped out of bounds. Coming back for the catch, Tristan Foran, who has a touchdown catch already today. Got it up to thought he got to the 35-yard line. Let's say he got out of the 34. Pushbacks, the clock winds, and the punting unit back on here for the Tigers.
Seems like the efforts from both teams have stalled out a little bit in this fourth quarter. DePauw seemed like they were rolling, turning defensive stops and turnovers into points. That has ceased. And obviously the struggles offensively for Wooster and what they've been unable to do on offense, that has also continued. So we have some time still left on the clock to see if that narrative can change for the Fighting Scots.
Gomez bombs another punt away, sending Louis Lindsay inside his 15. He'll catch it on the bounce at around his 8. Running east and west, he slips and is tackled on the play by Jackson Kane. But you want to talk about a guy in Gomez having a wonderful senior day. He has just been bombing punts here in the second half. And look at the celebration from 5 in black.
Forcing Louis Lindsay to be unsure if he wanted to field it. Still went back to track the football. fielded it and then didn't have much room to work with and got tackled inside the 10-yard line. So a play that just compounded as precious seconds went on throughout the duration.
How much do you have to like it if you're the DePauw coaching staff? I know the game is in hand as of now. We understand that. But you see Gomez out there getting some really great punts off, and he could be a real weapon next week against Wabash trying to flip the field.
Everything that's muscle memory has to be directly linked to you doing it in a game situation when things actually matter. Practice is great, and you want to practice well, but having the confidence because you executed in the game is so invaluable.
Good to see Manny Zelaya back on the field, toting the rock here for Wooster after leaving earlier in the second half with an injury. Joe Marzano, along with others from DePauw defensively in there to push Zelaya, the sophomore from Florida, back. DePauw scored 17 in the first, 14 in the second, 21 in the third, and had 4 takeaways in that third quarter. They've had 5 interceptions in total, including their lone interception back in the first. Snowbarger to throw. Intercepted again. There's another INT trying to get another pick six, and the Tigers get it. As everything coming up aces today for the DePauw defense. This one for Richard McIntosh. That's number 2 on the day here for the Tigers. Actually, make it John Tobin with the INT.
Instead of scoring points on offense, the DePauw defense is taking matters into their own hands and turning pick sixes into style points, and the new offense here today at Blackstock Stadium.
Sideline warning on DePauw. And John Tobin, the senior linebacker. So Tobin, the senior, with a pick six. McCoy with a senior on a pick six. And both of those reserves having senior days to remember here for DePauw and Greencastle this afternoon. Gomez will try to kick this one to the trees. It is up and through. And that scoreboard gets in the way. No, it's going to roll down the hill, and that young fella's got to run down the hill to go get that PAT from Gomez. But nice job there from John Tobin, 6-foot senior, Western Springs, Illinois, with the pick six today. And the band plays on here at Blackstock Stadium.
Even when you're backed up and you go to a play that seemed to have worked for the better part of this game, when all things have sort of hit the fan, even that wasn't good enough because another pick six gets etched into the record books on this senior day for the DePauw Tigers. So once again, when it's raining, it pours, and that's exactly what's been the case for this Fighting Scots team, just trying to figure out something to weather the storm and get through these last 8 minutes. But even that isn't good enough because the relentless attack by the Tigers has not stopped.
Second pick six of the day, the 4th INT here of the second half. 5th one in total today, going back to Pratt's on the very first drive for Wooster today. It has been 5 takeaways here in the second half for the DePauw defense. 4 on defense and 1 on special teams. Fair catch called for and made here by Savan. Wooster will take it out to the 25 as we have 7:54 left to play here in the 4th. Again, one more game left for DePauw next week. The Big Monon Bell Classic on the road. They'll try to keep the bell here in Greencastle as they take on the Little Giants of Wabash next week in Crawfordsville. Worcester's season will come to a close today. Again, they're bye next week, so their season coming to a conclusion here today.
One thing that head coach Brett Dietz talked about was a lot of times when you're coaching these college kids, they look at the final scores a lot, and they start to do the law of the transitive property. If A equals B and B equals C, that means that C equals A. What does that exactly mean? Well, this is a team that beat Wittenberg 14-12, and this is also a team that lost to John Carroll by the score of 7-66. And so you look at the scoreboard and you say, well, based off of what we did against that team, if they lost to this Fighting Scots team, then we should be able to do this. But sometimes things gets lost in translation. So the Fighting Scots lost to Wabash 34-7. And so a lot of these kids are going to look at the final score and say, hey, we beat them by a lot. That should mean it's an automatic win for us. And so he said their job continues to preach a message of not looking at the scoreboard, but pay attention to how we can attack them, because no win is guaranteed.
Joey Fico, the sophomore from Chicago, coming in and getting a stop there for DePauw. Some work for Bryson Douglas in the backfield here for the Fighting Scots. As Worcester's 2025 year will finish at 500, 5-5, 4-4 in the North Coast Athletic Conference. DePauw will improve to 8-1 overall, 6-1 in the NCAA. It's still an opportunity for DePauw. If again, John Carroll, if they win today, they would wrap up the regular season, at least a share of the regular season championship and the automatic bid to the national tournament that comes with it. Floating pass to Michael O'Brien, and he's out and running. A flag heaved in from 20 yards away in the defensive secondary, but DePauw ends up not being able to wrap up that auto bid. They're trying to go into those 13 at-large bids that'll come after the regular season comes to a conclusion.
And it comes down to that NPI index rating that has to be in a top 13 ranking, minus all of those that receive the automatic bid. So there's a lot of teams to sift through and figure out who's going to get those at-large bids. That's why it's so important, as Coach Dietz said at the start of the season, you have to treat every single game like it is your last, because there's just no guarantee when you get to this time of the year that you're going to even get an at-large bid.
Illegal blindside block, offense number 20, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, replay, third down.
So Brody Snyder, the guilty party on that blindside block. Yeah, we looked at it today, that NPI index, and DePauw not in the top 13 right now. Again, that's just looking at 1 through 13. There's a lot of teams to sift through and a lot of multiple conference teams in that NPI, and so there's can be a lot of waiting and figuring and factoring and everything else heading in to not only, but again, it all doesn't matter if you don't win next week. That's the other thing.
Every game matters. You cannot overlook it and say, hey, if we do well here today, we should automatically do this, because that's a Wabash team that has dropped this bell game the last few years. And they're at home, and the last time they were at home, it went to double overtime, a game that I was fortunate enough to attend. An exciting finish at the end with Wabash having possession of the football with the chance to go win the game. And a couple of third and fourth down calls by former head coach Dan Morrell, and it did not go the Little Giants' way, and DePauw was able to walk away with that victory. So that's not an environment that you go into and you can just automatically bookend a win for your program. You have to go take it, just like every other bell game has been.
That bell will start ringing here on the DePauw campus starting shortly. As is custom, it constantly rings throughout the week. Folks are tasked with guarding it, so those other folks from Wabash that try to come and steal it are turned away and deterred, and then obviously you'll hear the bell ringing throughout the entire game coming up in Crawfordsville a week from today. Muffed punt. Able to fall on it, though, is Evan Dienhart. But down on the other end of the field is Nolan Hendricks, the punter, and that flag at his feet might be beneficial here for the Fighting Scots of Wooster.
That was a Reggie Miller flag. It was. Oh, yeah, he hit him just now.
Running into the kicker, return team number 5, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, replay, fourth down.
Evan Pitzer called. That doesn't look like number 5 at all. It doesn't matter either way. Might be Connor Cruz. The guilty man might have been, looks like he was blocked into the punter, Nolan Hendricks. But Hendricks and the punt team come back out there as that penalty makes it just 4th and 10. Three gunners lined up on either side of the formation. Hendricks drives it away. Dienhart in retreat. He backs away, and it'll be down by Wooster, just outside of the 20-yard line. Covering that punt was William Harris II for the Scots. So a convincing win today here for DePauw. They jumped out early. Again, the 2 rushing plays from Caden Whitehead on the first possession of the game. All 61 yards in that drive were off of his legs, and Wabash didn't look back after that. They got the interception from Pratt on that first defensive possession. It's just been all Tigers here this afternoon in Greencastle.
And if you remember, 2 plays, as you've already mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that it took this DePauw offense to go down and score via Caden Whitehead. And then that next drive, the Fighting Scots actually had some momentum, converted some 3rd and 4th downs on that drive, and was able to get down into scoring position. And it was all because of a tipped football that led to an interception for Harry Pratt. And that was really, as you just said, turned the tide in the favor of DePauw. They never looked back, and the Fighting Scots never got back in control of anything for the better part of this game.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You mentioned it was a tip ball. Pratt was right there, made the catch, and you wonder because they had picked up 1 or 2 4th downs at that point. They seemed to kind of find a little bit of rhythm, and then after that, it just went all the way from them after that one tipped pass.
Chunk play after chunk play, and then they give up a play via a turnover and just never really got back in the driver's seat with controlling their destiny.
2nd down and 10. Kazmierak, Zach on a handoff to the wide receiver, Hunt Hildebrand. His brother already had an interception earlier today, and Hunt with a nice jet sweep on the runner, a pop pass forward all the way out across the 40.
Gets around the edge, Hildebrand does, and then shows some of the wheels and accelerates. Thought he could maybe escape from the outstretched hands of the defenders from Wooster, but nonetheless gets a nice 1st down on a 1st down call.
So a jet sweep there for Hunt Hildebrand. Less than 4.5 to go here. Takes it all the way out to the 41-yard line. Big romp there for the Tulsa, Oklahoma native. Peyton Cross, the running back, in here for the Tigers. Kazmierak, the QB. Give to Cross. And the former Sheridan man rumbles forward. 6'1", 240-pounder. Real sledgehammer back there here for DePauw.
Sheridan sectional champions last night. Etched their names in sectional championship history. First year without Coach Bud Wright at the helm of that program, who feels like he won a million games in his time as head coach there, but that program doing a nice job, minus him being at the helm.
Sheridan and Clinton Prairie locked up in the sectional semifinal last week. But the Blackhawks champs this year. Pass and a diving interception. Nicely made. Grady Harbin, his 2nd pick today for the freshman. For a guy like Harbin,
one man's loss is another man's treasure. Not able to haul it in. And that's why you just continue to pray. Continue to play. Harbin comes in for the interception in diving fashion. And just it's been a turnover fest no matter what team you're playing for today. Garzalini threw an interception, and Snowbarger has thrown a couple of interceptions himself. So very careless with the football in this 2nd half for both teams.
You got to like Harbin, freshman starting at corner pretty much all season here for Wooster. Bright future for that young man with 2 picks today. Came in with just 1. Snowbarger back to the sticks here for Wooster for the final 3 and change. Douglas on the carry. Runs forward. Charles McCormick in there along with a couple of other Tigers on the stop on a gain of 1. It's been an honor and a real fun pleasure this year to have this new partnership with DePauw this year, having all 4 of the Tigers' home games here on the ISC Sports Network. We've obviously had the relationship with both DePauw and Wabash with the Monon Bell Classic over the last handful of years, but it's been really fun to bring DePauw in the fold this year and be here 4 times here at beautiful Blackstock Stadium here this fall in Greencastle.
And everyone benefits from it. We get an opportunity to put these kids' names out into the universe for more people to have eyes on them. And then if you're an alum or you're not in the local area, you get a chance to watch and tune in and feel like you're along this ride right there with these DePauw Tigers. So everyone gets to benefit from this partnership, and I think it's been true professionalism on both sides.
Bryce Creech able to come in and get that tackle for loss here for the Tiger defense. Blake Jones subbing in at one of the cornerback spots here for the Tigers. And third down here for Wooster. And we've reached the 2-minute timeout. Band
That is the 2-minute
rocking
timeout.
the band rocking and rolling today. They have been filling the air with music a lot. Accompanying the 59 points that DePauw has put on the board today. 2-minute timeout here from Greencastle.
Monon is pretty much the biggest game in D3.
And we always want to keep that bell, especially for the campus.
It comes down to tradition and brotherhood, playing for the guys that are to your left and to your right.
The past history that we've had, over 100 years of other men that have played.
Let's go, Tigers! Let's go!
Let's go. Put up 6. Let's go.
Let's go!
Before I was on campus, I was very nervous. I gotta make friends and my teacher's gonna be nice. But now that I'm here, all my fears have washed away and I'm more excited to learn than I have been in a while.
And that's one of the things I think that DePauw does incredibly well. It provides an opportunity for individuals to find their place in the world, and that's something that the university provides everyone who comes here.
It's never the last time you're at DePauw. You'll always be back, and I know that I'm coming back for these people.
Third down and 10 for the Wooster offense. Luke Snowbarger at the controls. Sets his feet and overthrows his intended target. Was looking for Brody Snyder, the freshman local product. Wideouts had a nice day today here for the Fighting Scots offense. It'll be 4th down and 10, and Wooster will punt this one away. Dean Hart back to receive for DePauw. And all that's separating the Tigers from their 8th win of the season is a couple of knees, and then they can turn their focus to the folks from Crawfordsville a week's time for the Monon Bell Classic. Quick snap, nobody was ready for it. Booted away by Hendricks. Dean Hart with the fair catch. And the DePauw offense comes out to take a couple of knees. And everybody in black and gold, the DePauw black and gold, Wooster with the same color scheme as well, will head home happy here today as the Tigers with a convincing win on Senior Day to move their all-time record against Wooster to 12-3.
Head coach Brett Dietz off to now what will be a 49-8 start in his DePauw career, which is the best start in school history. Is up there with some of the best coaches around right now with about an 86% win percentage as a head coach. Kalen DeBoer for Alabama, who spent some time at Washington. Ryan Day, everyone knows who that is, at Ohio State. And then at the top of the list is Jeff Dart from Mount Union at 94% winning percentage there at 64-4. But at 49-8, Coach Brett Dietz getting it done in just these few short years that he has been head coach of this DePauw Tigers football team.
Jack Kazmierzak watching the play clock at the other end of the field, trying to time it up as best he can. The Tigers will have to take one more knee. As the fans starting to make their way to the exit, you can see the DePauw men's soccer team up 1-0 at halftime over Denison over there at Beavis Stadium. So a good day here for DePauw athletics, football and football, both in the driver's seat right now.
Very well done by you.
Thank you. I'm not a wordsmith like you, but I find one every once in a while.
We're all just works in progress.
DePauw, a rousing victory today over Wooster, 59-0, as they will head into their regular season finale next week and try to keep the Monon Bell here in Greencastle when they take on Wabash. DePauw scored the first 17 points of the game and didn't look back again. They scored that on the opening drive, 2 plays in. They got the tipped interception, and it was all Tigers after that.
They did no looking back once they made that first touchdown by Caden Whitehead, and then it was just a flurry of Tigers on running rampant here at Blackstock Stadium. They're going to need a lot more of this type of effort as they go into the precious final moments of their season as we head into the Bell game and potentially the playoffs.
That's right. As Jared mentioned, Monon Bell Classic next week, DePauw at Wabash. You can catch that game here for free on the ISC Sports Network with a 1 o'clock kick time. DePauw still in hopes of making the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid still in their sights, but a win next week will be needed. So for our great crew, headed up by director Charlie Hammock, graphics was Dylan Lax, replay today was Dalton Cox, camera operators were Ian Wheeler, Juan Guillen, and Clark Quinlan. For our great analyst Jared Thomas, I'm Rick Johnston, saying so long from Greencastle, Indiana, where number 13 DePauw shuts out Wooster 59-0. You've been watching DePauw University football on the ISC Sports Network.
I felt like I became a totally different person at DePauw.
DePauw was really one of the first places that I had an opportunity to explore the arts, the sciences, economics.
DePauw gave me that chance to not only be a leader, but to teach leadership skills to other people.
And DePauw students are known for being well over invested in their time and commitments, and yet somehow they find a way to